What's up?
Long
I,
time no see, McNabb.
I know I missed out.
Do you recognise his character, Dan?
Oh, look at this guy.
Do you know who that is?
Oh, is
John.
that from is he from Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Snake.
used
what's
to
his
play on it.
fucking name?
Give me the first letter, James, and I'll get it.
Well, it depends. There's two names. B is you could call him B. Big, big.
I used to play Metal Gear Solid on
Big Snake.
Okay.
PSP.
Yeah, I got the PSP over there. She's fucking great. Snake.
Yeah, Snake.
Solid
Big.
Snake.
Yeah,
So
Snake.
that one, this one's not Solid Snake though. This is the one. This is his predecessor. This is Venom Snake.
Yeah, I was just going to say the evil one.
Yeah, you're on about the what
Oh,
one?
my memory's horrendous.
Evil. I'm like,
Do you know
what?
what I used to be amazed with on Metal Gear Solid? It was obviously back in the day when you got like the first title, like really good cut scenes.
It
You
was
know, the,
something
the
else.
graphics were like shit. Look at this, and you thought it was when you saw the advert on TV, you thought that was the actual game, and
Dude,
then
it
had
was.
in the corner, not
It,
actual game footage.
I
Yeah.
know, upsetting. But no, Metal Gear Solid ahead of his time, man. There's the director is a gentleman called Hideo Kojima, and he's just bringing out. He's got another game called Death Stranding, and it's like really weird. But
Oh, is that the one where you carry like a baby on your back?
yeah, dude, it's so weird. But it's like number two's coming out soon, and it's getting a lot of like hype because he's got such a good
Mm.
cast of characters in it. Like the first one had like Mads Mikkelsen, Leia Faru, Norman Reedus, and then this one's got them all in it and more people like Guillermo del Toro. I know, like the man's just crazy, like, and the story, who knows what the fuck's going on, but it's cool.
Yeah, the first one just wasn't aligned with my attention span.
No, I couldn't play. I put it on for like 2 minutes because it's basically just a walk-in post office
Yeah.
simulator, and then this one apparently is like totally different. So
Oh, okay.
we'll see. So
Might be worth it. I mean, it looked amazing, but
look at the trailer for this one because it's bizarre, but it's got a lot of people's attention right now. So I've
Do
been
you have a
watching a lot.
PSP then?
no,
PS5, sorry.
I got PS5, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to PSP. I know you. Shit, how old is PSP, James? Like the first one,
The PSP.
like the grey one.
PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh shit, 96,
Oh no, the
95.
PSP is the handheld
Yeah,
one.
PSP is
Oh,
the
right.
PlayStation
Sorry.
Portable.
I'm totally
Yeah,
lost with gaming.
PlayStation 1 is 95, I think, or 4.
Yeah, I need to get back into the game thing. I keep wanting to buy a PS5, but I'm just thinking I never have enough time to catch up with desk work anyway
I
without me
know.
just jizzing
It's
off
a
on
tough one.
5 hours on a PS5 on it even.
We need to have like just an allocated a schedule plan, don't we?
That never happens, James. You know this.
I know.
Yeah, I'll just have a quick hour, then like 5 hours later, like shit.
Oh,
It's
I've got
almost like
some.
unfortunately with gaming, what you have to do is make yourself one of them people that stays up way beyond bedtime. And it's
That's me
bollocks.
anyway. Just trying to deal with general
I
life.
know. It's
So,
funny because we were just talking about Metal Gear Solid. I forgot I've got a whole box under this desk of all the action figures from the second game, all brand new, not opened.
well, that might be worth a few quid in a few years' time.
Dude, I bought them for a steal, man. That's why I'm sitting on them, and I've got some in that one there, and underneath this white console, I've got some rare Resident Evil ones, man. They
They
were
could be your child's retirement fund. You
they
never
will,
know.
but she'll probably open them and play with them, and then they'll be all
yeah,
fucked.
yeah, that's yeah.
But
I did say child there because I didn't know whether you'd announced it was a he or a
yeah,
she.
no, obviously, so
Yeah,
if
okay.
people weren't sure, it's a little girl. So still fighting over names because I kind of said that I kind of like certain names, and Yannicka hates them. So it's like, oh, okay,
Dorian.
Dorian for a woman, Dozer. I'm doing
That's
a
funny.
Dozer.
That
I'm doing
was
a Dozer
actually
today.
one of my questions I was going to ask.
Oh, that's
What
top secret.
names?
That surely.
What
If
the?
well,
Can
there's
you
a,
can you disclose one of your choices, James? What Yannicka doesn't
I
like?
liked Robin,
yeah,
That's a
strong.
nice name.
but like just a very simple. But in Norway, Robin is much more common for a man's name.
Yeah.
Even though I find Robin to be quite feminine,
Yeah,
especially if it's spelt with like a Y.
Y is
yeah,
definitely gonna if
Female.
if it's a girl and it's spelt with a Y, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what
If
I
it's
was
I,
thinking.
she's probably going to get grief at school,
Exactly,
unfortunately.
and that's where Yannicka's stance is on that. But I don't know. Yannick hasn't got better taste than me, so there's no
You
chance.
planted
Well,
the
is
seed,
it?
James. You're allowed to choose the name.
But it's she's going to be in school in the UK, isn't it? So
Exactly, that's my point.
Is she, James, or not? I don't know.
Well, you don't know actually. Who knows what the
uh,
future holds? Who fucking knows, man? I have these discussions every day, like with different people. I'm at the gym today talking to Adrian, and he wants to move to Texas, and then Yannick is there, like I want to move to Norway, and I'm like, What about me? Where do I want to be? And I don't know where I want to be. I don't know. Who knows? Are you guys where you want to be? That's the question. Or is it not a case of
Um,
that? Is that ever even been it?
just had this chat with Leroy. Sorry, Leroy caught me, and I literally just got in at 10 to 8 from the gym because he's working a new place where he's with his job, and it's taking him like an hour and a half to get to work and an hour and a half back.
Oh,
Sometimes
God.
2 hours to get back. So
So you got to be on call now.
yeah, a bit soul destroying. I'm so lucky that I'm like 10 minutes
Close.
away.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
we were just discussing the UK, and he just said to me that the traffic was bad because the bin men are now on strike or something. So
so basically
we
another
just kind
reason
of,
to not like it here.
yeah, it's just fucking nonsense after nonsense at the moment, isn't it? We won't go down the political route, but it is a bit dog shit at the moment in the UK,
It
isn't it? Unfortunately.
is, but then because I don't live nowhere else, I don't know what anywhere else is like. I feel
I
like
mean,
is it like that everywhere, Dan? Is it?
I think once you get under the surface, like there's that. I've been to America a bunch of times, and everyone's saying the same shit that we're saying here.
Yeah, but
So
it's on this like you got that surface level where everything's like, yeah, this is great, and then you spend a few weeks and you're like, you start to see the cracks,
yeah, yeah.
and you're like, oh shit, and it's the same with anywhere, and then it's just finding your place, isn't it? Where can you live with?
Mm.
Is it a case of do we all have to just go minimalist and take ourselves out of the equation and put ourselves off the grid? You know,
That
I could quite easily do that. I think as you get older, you kind of need less.
yeah.
Obviously, I've got my daughter,
Dan sounded like maybe he couldn't.
I don't
Dan,
know.
Dan
I
couldn't live
think
without social media now because he's an influencer now.
fuck it
Either
up.
way, bro.
Hold on,
Either way.
I forgot to send you this actually.
What's
One
the
sec.
code? What's your code, Dan?
What's my code?
Yeah, yeah, come on, let me know.
Or
Let me
my,
see what.
Is it
Let me see what
to
I can
be
find now.
fair, like when my gran died, it was kind of like the crack of the family, like the dispersion. There's now I just like kind of have like my mum, and I didn't need to care for my gran. I didn't have a purpose.
I
I
hear
was
that.
like, okay, well, the silver lining is I'm free. But Ellis's family live here, and her mum's got MS, and like, so I'm kind of tied through
Yeah.
Ellis, which is fine. I don't need much anyway. So,
Mm.
it's the day to days, isn't it? Can you rub along day to day? Anyone can go and have a great time in the best situation
Oh,
wherever.
for sure. If you put yourself in the best situation because you've got a bit of extra cash to spend and make it feel like it's,
Yeah,
a temporary haven,
yeah,
great. But then what do you do in
Yeah,
between?
yeah. So I'm cool. I'm pretty easy. I'm good with things that are the same. I like rhythm, and so
I think that's a bodybuilding thing as well, isn't
yeah. I
it?
was
Like
just gonna
hardcore.
say,
Yeah.
Dan is like
But
a
which
typical
came first?
bodybuilder
Do you
slash
know?
psychopath.
Yeah. Was it the rhythm or was it the bodybuilding?
Yeah, was it? Yeah, because I
Did
found
you?
it was so all the things that people find hard in bodybuilding are like that's my shit. That's
Yeah. Just state. Do you like things being almost stagnant and
yeah.
repetitive and
What? Yeah. I mean, stagnant's a
not
weird
maybe
word.
a
I
bit of
probably
yeah.
combine.
It's a bit of a strong word, wasn't it? But you know what I mean.
Just trackable, traceable. Like just in
What
because
you do, yeah.
not predictable, but like control of the variables in my existence. I'm a bit on the
Control freak.
spectrum, and I like my
Aren't we
shit.
all? I think we're all a bit spazzy, bro. I think, I sit there
Fuzzy.
sometimes. Yeah, no, honestly, and I think, fuck me, there's so many things wrong with this, like my brain. And if the world could see my thoughts, they would just think
Oh,
you're not
mate,
fit to be anyone.
fucking.
You
Yeah,
know?
I always just make the excuse. I always just say we all tick a little bit different, and that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
But
you're
again,
saying
now,
Dan that you kind of got into bodybuilding because of that. I was the other way around. My life was a bit of a scattered of shit,
so you need to pull it
and
together a little
bodybuilding
bit.
kind of brought me some consistency and like
Direction.
yeah. So that's it helped me in that way. But you're saying you got into bodybuilding because you already like that.
No,
Where were you?
well,
Where were you on that one, James?
Well, Dan,
Were you a
do you think?
psychopath before you started bodybuilding, or just a psychopath
Just,
now?
just a bit of a lost boy, young man, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just
that was mine. That was to give
that's
you
it, bro.
some direction. So
Young man, need direction. You look left, you look right. You're like, I don't really like left or right, so I'm probably going to go forward and a little bit to the side. And it took me into that gym, and then you try a few things
20
along
years
the way.
later.
Yeah, dude, it's just it is weird, isn't it? Because you don't predict any of this. You don't predict where you end up. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
circumstance and repetitive action that I don't know. You're not like, oh, I one day want to be here. I don't feel like that's actually really what happens. You just in the moment, you're like, okay, right now this is suiting me. And then before you know it, 15 years has passed and you're somewhere progressive along this line, wherever it may be. And you're like, oh shit, how did I get there? But I think everyone feels that way about their life, don't they? Because there's some people that are really strategic in their planning and I think have like a visualization of where they want to be. But I can't say that was me. I don't think that
Yeah,
was ever me.
that's a funny. It's funny you mentioned that, James, because when I was younger, like when I got into the bodybuilding and stuff, and I wanted a gym and all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to do this, I was very specific at writing stuff down, etc.
Yeah.
And the last maybe I don't know, maybe it's 3, 4, even 5 years since I opened the gym, because obviously that was a big milestone as well.
Yeah.
I have been a little bit like lacking direction. I don't know whether it's because we were all just trying to get through COVID and all that kind of stuff, and we didn't know where we
Mm.
were. But yeah, I'm at a point now where I do have to kind of start writing some stuff down and starting to get some specific direction, if you like. Because hey, I am a little bit older. We've all got our
You,
little health things going on and stuff.
yeah.
You do
Do you,
kind of get a little bit. Again, I think it's just to do with my daughter, to be fair.
for sure.
So you'll probably get the same,
Um,
James.
yeah, like I think the requirement to have direction is dependent on where you are in your current circumstance, isn't it? And
Yeah,
obviously, for a time, if there's a amount of attention towards something and it's taken a lot of attention, you, I suppose, don't really think. You're kind of just on your way. You're doing it. And then you reach a point, like, say, post-career as a bodybuilder, the gym's finally open. Things are kind of running, although they still require your attention heavily. You have ticked off certain boxes, and then it's like, well, my personality and my drive hasn't stopped. So now I need to kind of
yeah,
find what's the next thing because I can't just sit still. Even though you're not ever sitting still because you're always putting energy into something, I think it's just part of the trait of the personality that we have is that it's not really satisfying to be like, oh, well, I'm done now. It just doesn't go like that, does it? There's always got to be something more.
Well, there's the thing is like you're saying, oh, like this is past and all that, but like
Never,
millions of people never even find a thing
I
that they
know,
care
yeah,
about.
I know.
And like if they're truly happy, wicked. But imagine not even having a thing. I mean, you can look at it as men in pants from the outside. It's men in
Yeah,
pants. But like it's what we all like put that much energy in and that passion, and to even have something to feel that much about
yeah,
is a gift in itself. And some people don't find that in
for
anything.
sure. Now, this is a question coming off the back of this because this is just what you made me think. Something I struggle with. And, bodybuilding has so many aspects to it. And I feel like we're all very similar here. I don't know if any of us are any of us massive fans of competing, um, or is our main love and our main driver the act like just being in the gym and being the bodybuilder, cooking the meals, being in control. Because something I'm struggling with late, and Amp knows this because I've obviously spoke to him, is just finding that desire to want to compete. And I lost it a few years ago. I won't lie. Like in 2022, I made a promise to myself that if I can't disconnect the sensation of having disconnect comparison from my competitive bodybuilding, then I won't no longer compete, which sounded really odd because it's like obviously it's a game of comparison. But what I meant by that is that I need to be able to walk into a show and not really care what anyone else looks like and just present me and not let it be the burden of everything. Um, so I don't know if you guys like with your bodybuilding, was it ever like that? Or were you fired up? Do you love the whole process and are you quite aggressive in that um, in that kind of what's the word? Pursuit. Because some people just love
yeah,
to compete and they're fiery and they just want it. And I can't say I've ever really been like that. I've always just kind of been like, I love doing the work, and then what will be what I display. And if it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, then I go back to the drawing board. But it's never been, I tried to stop it from being, I tried to stop it from being something that commands me too much, if that makes sense. So how are you guys with
yeah.
that? If that makes.
I'll let you go because I know the answer to yours.
Well, I know the answer to yours, Dan.
Well, I
So
have had quite a lot of
yeah,
fire. I feel like to be nabbed by Mr. Universe and all that, I think you must have been a pretty fucking ballsy guy.
the way I always looked at it was, and Dan probably agree, I don't like the dancing around in your pants part. I love the whole kind of challenge of getting ready for a contest and everything. I could quite happily miss the day out, not
Yeah,
because of the stress or expectation, just I don't really like that part of. And I kind of had to kind of make it look like I did, because when I was a junior and stuff, it was all kind of fun, etc.
was.
And you move the ladder a little bit. Obviously, I didn't get to your level, James. But what I'm saying is that you kind of like you see when you've got a bigger title, kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? When you're trying to win a bigger title, so you have to take it a little bit more serious, don't you? But like, because again, you're kind of taking supplements, etc., and you've
Oh,
got to
mate.
kind of warrant justice for that as well.
Yeah,
But I thought if I'm doing all of this, then you better take this bit very seriously, which I did. and we did okay. But yeah, like I could quite happily miss off the show. Like other than catching up with people and stuff, I have no desire to
But
get
it's
a bit
not
of
that. But
underpants. And
but you also getting in shape was fun. Like coming in the gym
yeah,
and show.
sort of.
You know, I feel like I do like being in shape once a year or whatever, and just being able to like see the difference for myself. But it's the comparison factor. It's like putting me next to so and so and being like, well, are you better than him? And that's what always was a bit of a problem with me because I think
Yeah.
uh deep down as a person, I look at everybody like they're equal. So I never would think I'm better than you or you're better than me. I think we're all equal in what we do. So it's kind of contradictory to my personality that I go on stage and have to have a bit of fire in my stomach and say I want to beat this guy because I think I'm better than him. I just don't have that mentality. Um, which again, I know it's been called out a lot, and it's been called out this it's a problem of me as an athlete. But at the same time, I've managed to win shows not having that a personality. I think
James,
I'm
you'll get
strong.
criticised for whatever personality you have.
I
So
think
let's
so.
say
I
all
think
of a
so.
sudden
Yeah, you're either
you turn
arrogant
into that
or
guy, and you're like, yeah, I want to kick everybody's ass on Instagram tomorrow. You're like,
well,
oh, James is like done it
you could be
now.
like, yeah, you could be like Nathan and say, look, I just slayed 21
Yeah.
people in a show, and then people think we're all just different, aren't we?
I
I
think
mean,
at the higher level, you're just going to get criticised for whatever you are,
Mm,
James, unfortunately.
I
mm.
can only imagine what it must like be like at your level, James, being on the O stage and stuff. Like you kind of have to keep it inside. And you said you see everyone as equal in bodybuilding. Like unless you're a genetic freak, everyone there is giving everything. You
For
know,
sure.
like you are equal in your work ethic at that level. Like there's no one's.
But the only separating factor at that point is genetics, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I'm a,
I've trained with these people. I've watched them eat, and no one's doing anything harder than anyone else. No one's doing it better. It just comes down to when you put all the pieces together, who's got the gift.
Yeah.
it's a big thing to say, but it's at
It's the
that
truth,
level. It
man.
fucking
And,
is.
and that's why I had to separate that sensation and feeling of comparison because some things you just can't control.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not,
why I had to put it into like a compartment, like you just said
yeah,
there, James. Where I never ever compared myself to anybody because you would just get frustrated in the end because
dude, you just end up
there's
with
many
moan,
guys who I used to train in the same gym as them. I won't mention any names. They don't compete anymore
train
anyway.
like pussies and look great.
Fucking look awesome. And
Yeah,
like, yeah, I used to just think, take care of your business, do everything you should do, and then where you place is
yeah,
kind of where you place. And that's why I never ever got upset about the place or anything, even if somebody had said, you got robbed there or whatever. But
yeah.
again, I can imagine it's just total different level at Olympia level because,
I,
like you say,
I, I think, I think,
everybody's
I think,
just
I think it's I think it's always the same no matter what level because there's always out there's always freaks on the way up as well,
yeah,
turn up at like NABA Southeast and some dude who's like been training for 1 year turns up and
in
does
his
the
nan's
novice
bedroom.
does the novice and then gets put in the overall and wins the overall and you're just like where the fuck did he come from? And like you say, yeah, he's lifting dumbbells in his nan's bedroom carpeted floor, like
Yeah,
deadlifting. And
I
it's
just
like,
saw some guy on Instagram doing like 800-pound deadlift in his bedroom. Did you see it?
fucking hell no, that's mad.
I
I
remember
did
when
not
I
go
used to
through the
do.
floor.
That's what I was thinking because my bedroom I used to do deadlifts and stuff. And my
Shit.
dad, it was like vinyl shit was full of like
Fuck.
whatever was in them. I don't know what was in them. The shit you used to get from Argos.
What are they like chalk in there? Like some heavy chalk
Yeah, some
shit. I
sand
don't
in them or something. I used to
yeah.
deadlift on them. My dad like, what the hell's going on up there?
Stop making
It's
noise
like,
up there.
it's
Well, that's
funny
funny.
when you
So
look back because I do miss. I don't miss those days because I wouldn't like to. You get what I'm saying. You kind of lose your way a little. We've got all
oh for
this
sure it gets all
massive
too
gym
serious.
now, and like today I didn't feel like training. I thought, you prick! Like
You
you've
got all
got this
this. Yeah.
massive gym.
I
Like
know.
someone would kill for this. It was just I was feeling a little bit unwell still. Just felt a bit
Yeah.
off. I thought, you prick! Like people just love to
Yeah.
be able to walk in there and train anytime they want.
But
And
then
yeah, I
this
do get annoyed with myself a little bit because when you had fuck all, you kind of appreciate it. Maybe it's just a little bit
but
more,
it's
I
funny
guess.
because we've just gone full circle in our conversation essentially, haven't we?
Yeah, sorry. We
No,
we
no, no,
always
no.
we
But
always do.
that's the good thing. Because
Yeah.
like Dan, what was your first experience of training? Because mine was similar. It was like bedroom. It was Meteora and Hybrid Theory and 50 Cent albums just being put on this that old CD deck I had that I kind of customized and made it make a lot of fucking noise. I had Dragon Ball Z posters on my wall, and I had something from Argos called a Total Body Gym, and it was basically like a slanted pad that you sit on, and it had two cables, so it was like doing flies, and your own body weight was the resistance. So that was and I was in there and I was listening to Linkin Park doing flies, press ups, bicep curls, like with this awkward piece of shit machine that probably cost about 50 quid. That was my honest, and yeah, that humble beginnings. And it was like, say, in the bedroom, man, just fucking training away. And that bedroom, all that happened in that bedroom was I did that, or I was smashing my girlfriend at the time and getting caught. And that was it. I remember one time being with my girlfriend at the time, and my mum's boyfriend came in, and we're in bed, and we're both naked, and all the clothes are on the floor, and he's like, "You two, not now. We're indoors." I was like 15 years old or some shit, but
James doing like
oh,
superset and benching and
bro,
hammering his missus.
absolutely, bro. Cardio, come on. Was yours a similar start? Was it, Dan? Was it like crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I lived through it. I
I'm
was
still doing that now.
I was definitely
Look,
two
he's got one
pumps.
right behind him now. If you tip the camera down,
Yeah, I was on. I'd never touched a and then I was on like tag, so I couldn't leave the
okay.
house.
So you had to do stuff indoors.
So my mate Felix had this fucked York bench and brought it over,
Mm,
and I was just like smoking weed in my bedroom trying to pass the time. All my
yeah,
mates kind of eventually stopped coming to visit because it was prime time for going
prime
out
time.
getting
Yeah,
annihilated. And yeah, eventually I was like, well, maybe I'll try this. And yeah, and that was that. I actually had the spin lock handles. You remember
yeah. Those
and
fucking things. They was undone on me.
yeah, there was a shop like round the corner and you could get them for about £1 a kilo. So I got some 10 plates so you could make a 20 kilo with the
Oh,
spin locks.
nice.
Um and um and yeah, that was it. I had no legs.
Oh, who did? I didn't do fuck with legs for 3 years. I don't think till one of
Yeah.
my bodybuilding friends introduced me to legs abruptly.
Yeah.
It was all I remember, like you just said there, like York bench, and the goal was to be able to lift one plate aside for one rep when I was like 14 or something in a garage. And
Yeah,
uh,
man.
and I remember like struggling to get a 60-kilo press out of me.
Yes.
I don't even know what age I was before I had that. It took me a while, I think, and then after that it kind of flourished. So
I did have the shit leg extension. You used to have like a shit
oh
leg
yeah,
Yeah.
development on the
attached to
end.
it. Yeah.
Rest, it's like
Knees
rape
again.
your knees.
Yeah, fucking
Was
There
that
was
the
no
one
like
that
oh,
had
you're
like a
gonna just
post?
strength the curve or something. It's like
it's literally just a
grind.
bolt. It's just a bolt through it. It just
Yeah,
yeah, just all
Yeah.
on the knee,
In
shearing
the
your knee.
and then they had like the pin in the middle. So it was just was that
it
the
was
one?
center. It was center driven down.
Yeah,
Yes, it was
that's
awesome.
yes.
Center driven like a flex leverage.
Yeah.
I used that actually the other day. It was that.
Do you know what I meant to ask you, James? Because we do need a little bit of maintenance on that because it seems a little bit off,
Oh,
and
dude, it felt amazing.
it's
That
kind of
one.
heavy at the bottom and it comes off a little bit at the top,
I
doesn't it?
think that's
Yeah.
why it felt so fucking good. Like, obviously, there's no secret I've had a bad knee, and it's been hard to get my quad to fire like properly. But dude, I did that and the flex leverage hack squat, and then your Nautilus kind of pin loaded press, single leg, like a lunge kind of thing.
Oh
I had,
yeah.
I had the biggest fucking pump in my legs for probably a year. So there's a lot to be said about that flex leverage. Yeah, I want to just come back and just be able to use that every time I train fucking quads because it's so good. And again, it's I always find that the leg extension when it's got a center point rather than coming from the side, it's such a
Yeah,
different.
definitely.
Yeah, it's
Weird,
fucking
isn't
fun.
it? It's just how different it is. I actually asked some manufacturers about this. I don't know if this is true, but I said, why does it now have it round the side? I can't remember if we
Yeah,
chatted about this previously.
probably have
And
because we hate it.
one guy basically said it's just to kind of make them more mainstream. People are lazy and they don't want to kind of go to the back, so like they just want to like
So
change the
bad.
stack. So if that is the real reason, then bring
It's
back
bad.
the
Dude, every
center
time
driven.
I go and use one of these fucking Nautilus or Prime, there's always a slight bit out, and that is enough to just really just say I can't even bother to do leg extension today because it just
Yeah,
feels shit. And it's always I think it always loads from the right, so you always get more on your right side because
yeah, it does always load from the right. Funny enough, yeah.
yeah, the pin stack's always on the right. But I mean that flex. I haven't used your because I know you got the flex in the hardcore corner as well, but that's the chain driven one, I believe.
Yeah, that's the Nautilus change, and that's
The
Yeah.
Nautilus one.
really
That's
heavy at
what.
the bottom
Okay,
as
so
well.
that's what they got in Destination, I believe.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
Yeah.
used it when we were well. I kind of used it because I couldn't hold myself in with one
couldn't.
arm. But I did some high reps. But you guys did the fives on it, didn't you? Where you do five, the nasty five thing, what we
Yeah,
call it, where
because
you
you
do
made
five reps.
only because you made us.
Yeah, because I was
But now I've been planning now because speaking of the gyms and equipment, obviously I'm planning out my next few sessions while I'm away because I'm thinking I've got to get to Arlington for a few, haven't I?
man, I'm jealous.
Yeah, man. I wish we were all going. I just wish if I had, dude, life would be so much like that's when life would be its best. If I just had a few of my close bodybuilding friends and Texas. Boom, that's it.
Yeah,
Don't
I am
need that's
definitely gonna go
my
back at some point.
that's all I need. And because you know what it is, I love doing the food shopping as well. Like when you're out there, you know, with the boys and you go in and you see all the different cuts of meat and the 99% lean turkey, which you just don't get here, and I don't know, bison and whatnot, and you just feel like you're a proper bodybuilder again. So
That is the one plus point about the States is that the food is loads better over there, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. And it's funny because this people in the States often, if they're British and they've lived in the States for a while, like people like Ben Chow, they think the American food is really bad. And I get what I think what they mean is there's a lot of when I eat American food, I get very like salty feeling, like very swelly. So there's like something like histamines and shit like going on in some of the food, which I don't notice here. But like I noticed that Stefan, when we were out there, was having like an allergic reaction to some food, and he's not even that
Really?
allergic. Yeah, so there's just some things in some of the food that is a bit weird, but I think it's just what you pick in it because you know when you go egg shopping over there, you got all the best eggs. If you go to Whole Foods, you get the pasteurized, you know, pasture raised quality eggs, and I love Whole
Mm.
Foods. I
Whole Foods is a bit
do.
wicked, but it's so expensive.
Mate, every time I come home from America, that's where I go my last shop because you know they have like the ready food section
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all the nice meats cooked, and I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
well, let's just get some of this for the trip home because then it's just easy to put in a Tupperware. But yeah, you end up doing like a few hundred
Mm.
pounds on what would probably only feed a person for a day.
Easy.
So,
Yeah, I think the junk food in the States is worse.
but
But
the
I think
good food's
if
better.
you buy the good food, I get what you're saying. If I have like a pizza or something in America, my mouth is so dry for like 2 days. There's definitely
Yeah,
something in the shitty food. But yeah, the good food is really good. So that's kind of the
the
comparison
balance.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
making.
true,
Yeah.
true,
Yeah,
true, true.
but the price like difference is what I found that like if you look at like just the basic like groceries, I was looking at like a loaf of bread and it was like 20% sugar.
I know their bread. That's one thing they always say. Like when I was
It's like brioche, like
yeah,
it's fucking what?
Tuttle always said that to me. Like he's like, I hate Americans' bread. And I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
really get
bread
it, but
shit
then
from the
they said it's
States.
all just sugar, like you said.
Yeah, it's fucking. I found when I've been over there, I get hypos, like
So
random
it's
hypos,
just digesting too fast, isn't it?
like
Blood
just.
sugar's gone up.
And
Ooh.
I don't eat a lot of bread, but just generally, like I'm not eating anything wild. I'm still
I, I assume
blending
that's the
tuna and
same.
shit.
Yeah, I assume that's the same for like the bagels and shit as well, like all of the breaded goods.
Yeah, but
Um,
That's why when you go to the US, you don't get bread, you get pancakes.
oh yeah,
Rules.
yeah, that is,
or
Where was that
um,
place where we were eating every morning, James, when we were in Texas?
first watch.
Yeah, I need
I
to just
love
go
that.
there every day.
So good. First watch is amazing. They had one in Ohio as well, so you know they got hit up. Um,
unfortunately in Miami they're all like skinny girl athletic, so there aren't that many like
mm,
diners. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
shame.
Like they're all like yeah, like fucking hot girl walk. Like
Now, one thing with America, and this is like hypothetically, is that things cost a lot, like in regards to bodybuilding stuff. That's one of the pain in the asses. Like, obviously, we're quite fortunate without going into too much detail, but in the UK, things just don't cost that much. But, you know, in America, Jesus Christ, like, I think like most supplements are probably double the price.
mm.
All
Um,
right, I got where you're going with this one. I actually
yeah,
thought you meant the red meat, James. That's
no,
so
no, no,
slow.
no. I just thought I would bring that up because it's just noticed as a massive. I don't know how they afford to do it.
Yeah, and gym memberships as well are
Sorry,
fucking mental.
this is going to sound really weird.
But
We just always go off on a just way off. But you nearly went into the Bane voice there, James. On your no. I just remember this.
when we were sitting there,
I could have been a bit weird on Saturday because I
Oh,
had some medicinal.
medicinal assistance,
Yeah, but I remember you doing like a 15 out of 10 Bane impression. Well, I'm
15
not going to
hour,
put
15 out of 10.
15 out of 10. I was like, shit,
15 out
is
of 10.
that? I closed my eyes
It was so
and I
good.
thought Tom Hardy was in the room. But I'm not going to put any pressure on you, James. But we do
No pressure. Yeah, maybe I'll find it in a minute.
Maybe you just find out at one point when we're not talking about it. Yeah, you
yeah.
just kind of went into the Bane voice there. I was like,
it was
because I
coming.
do. All I can remember from Saturday is Bane and Macho Man Randy Savage. Now,
I
this
know.
does sound like a very bizarre evening, but
I know because you were so keen to hear Hulk Hogan, but I was like, I prefer Macho Man because I feel like he's just got a really stupid voice. I'm looking
yeah,
a bit
because we were
Macho
sitting
Man
around
now.
having a really sensible conversation
We had a Lebanese and a chat. It was good.
about Macho Man Randy Savage and obviously
Yeah,
some bodybuilding stuff.
Dan missed out. I'm sorry, Dan. I have got
Oh,
to bring this
mate.
up. You missed out on a good time, bro.
Oh,
Well, we won't even go there, James. We're going to give Dan some hammer because of that, because he could have technically made it if he
Could have
had
made
no
it, bro.
sleep.
It would have been tired, but it would have worked.
I could have technically made it.
Could have had double scoop atomic bomb.
Yeah, I'm still coming down now from that.
I'm pretty fucked, bro. That back workout, because I trained back maybe like 2 days before, but I was like, I'm gonna do it because I'm not a pussy. I was fucked after that.
Oh yeah,
That was
I
pretty
saw
fun.
Jack, and he was like,
We were all bad, bro. We were all bad. Jack was like smashed on the sofa till like 4 a.m. He didn't even get into bed till gone 4 a.m. because he
yeah,
was
he
so
did
fucked.
say, he did
Yeah,
say,
that's something we kind of can bring up. Actually, I'll mention this to Dan because we will actually talk about some bodybuilding stuff. So yeah, I think I shared your because I do need to kind of, because they were 4K James, I won't send them on WhatsApp. I need to upload them on my desktop and send them over as a file to you guys. So
You
I
should
will
just
do that tomorrow. But yeah, so I shared your on my story in your T-bar Rose, and somebody sent me a message. It was actually a friend of mine. Said, "Oh, sorry, pal, but they're bad form." I was like, "Mate,
it's a
they
different
weren't
movement.
supposed to be great form. We did the pullovers with some squeezes and some statics and some stretches.
Yeah.
We did some pretty strict kind of pull down movement. That was supposed to be like
Yeah.
a grip and rip set. So yeah, would I kind of recommend if you were a beginner to train like that? Probably not. Us guys, we've been doing this a little while. We've got some good mind muscle connection going on. They did the job and they did what they were supposed to do for me anyway. So I'm
Well,
sure you felt them, James.
well, listen, you got movements like that, or you could watch someone on an upright horizontal prime row, basically with their elbows like kind of in line with their upper back and pulling. And essentially, you're training the same fucking muscle part, but one's harder than the other. So
Yeah.
I know what I'd rather do. I'd rather do the free
Yeah,
weight.
it's the fun aspect as
So
well, isn't it? Like
so so
we spoke about
yeah,
this.
it's the form's intentive for what you're trying to do with the movement. We weren't by any it wasn't a movement where we're using like a close grip low row to pull it into our waist and almost hit like the lower lats. It was a very much upper back thickness movement for me. So I felt like it was good for
Smash the
what it
shit
is.
out of your back.
Yeah, because we like you said, we'd already done a couple of we knew we were gonna do a pull up. We did pull over first. We knew we were gonna do a dumbbell row proceed after that, which is gonna then focus more on our lat again. So it's like a session plan. It's always like you gotta look at it for the entire session. You can't look at it for the individual breakdown because
Yeah.
what did you get out of the entire session? And the entire session always has some method behind it. It's never loose. It's not like you do four rows in a row that are all for upper back. That's never going to be the case. We've got enough intellect and wit between us to know when we're doing something that's a bit counterproductive. So that was perfect for what we wanted on the day. Really, it was just a bit of grip and rip, like you say, and a bit of fun with the boys. Um, and yeah, it
Well,
smashed the
put it
shit
this
out
way,
of me.
my back was sore in every department in the right area. So the lats was sore, the upper back was sore, the erectors were sore because we did some racks at the end and
Did a
stuff.
bit of
So
racks.
yeah, it kind
I
of
could, bro. I could even grip at the end. My forearm was so fucking pumped. But it was good. It was good. It was a really good workout. I think the company's always welcome as well, isn't it? Because you just have a bit of camaraderie, and you know, you put out a few reps that you wouldn't necessarily pull out when you got the boys with you. So
no,
I like that.
I can't do that now. Just
No, you did though. You
I've still got to leave
you
some in the tank,
you
unfortunately.
you were on the pullover, and you're like another one, fucking, you know.
Yeah, I did say like, yeah, I'll just leave a few. I was like, shit. After that, I gave myself
It was like two
a
more.
bit
I
of
was
a
like,
talking to.
yeah, but no, it was
But,
good.
yeah,
Um,
I definitely enjoyed it. It was
like
good.
I said, I had a great leg session, well, quad session, quads and biceps. I've got this weird thing in the middle where I kind of enjoy breaking legs up and then doing either like something else with it. And did a good quad session with biceps the following day. Used your hoist bicep curl, which is pretty cool if you get it nice and strict. And then obviously you got like the MTS, but it's the plate loaded kind of high curl. It's always a good one.
Yeah, that's actually
Thermals.
Nautilus, James.
Yeah.
Nautilus one,
That's the
okay,
Nautilus
sweet.
curl, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a thinner handle, isn't it? Nautilus. I prefer the Nautilus because the Nautilus Nitro is actually the one I prefer.
That's
And then
actually the plate loaded Nautilus Nitro. That's what
yeah,
it is.
that's what it is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I just realised because I used the pin loaded quite a lot, and then did some cable rope hammers, and that was I don't know how you guys train your biceps, but I find like 3 exercises. I normally like doing like a curl from down low, a curl from high, and then some form of rope or hammer, and that's kind of me on biceps. But I've been up in
Pretty
the
much the
volume a
same,
little
to be
bit.
fair.
Been up in the volume a little bit lately, like I said, because the food's up a little bit since the show. Been like I'm kind of normally like I was a 2 set guy, but I was finding that I weren't feeling very muscular full. And then I just threw in a third set on pretty much everything, and I am noticing that you just get a better pump. So that's just
Yeah.
me.
I've upped volume just because I was getting injured and
Yeah, it's a good way to do that as well. Yeah,
having that one shot. If I can't reach the intensity, I've got to make up for it in volume. That's
yeah.
my
Well,
thought
that's the thing.
process.
Volume allows you to do that, doesn't it? And I know some people like kind of shun it, but at the same time, we are not as young as we used to be.
Yeah,
So
instead of Dan doing like 11 out of 10 set with some force reps and legs or whatever, or partial or whatever, he's having to do like an 8 out of 10 twice or whatever.
yeah. But then it's
It's
like you
just
say, it's accumulative, and it still causes a lot of
Mm.
positive stress. It's funny because I've been watching a bit of John Meadows lately. I don't know why he's just been popping up on my YouTube, and again, he was obviously a slightly older gentleman by the time his videos were kind of popular, and yeah, he was kind of saying the same thing really with the accumulation of a bit of volume. Just said it's a smart thing to do when you've been in the game a long time.
really in the over 40 bracket.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I was 36 what Monday, and
Oh,
I'm
Yeah,
already,
happy belated birthday, James.
dude, I'm already in that club. That 40 club is already here, basically.
oh, mate.
So yeah,
I did.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
happens
want
when you
to.
squat 8 plates.
Yeah. I don't want to juju you, but I found that over 35, when things started pushing back a bit, I was pretty clean until 35, and then
yeah.
it did start like I remember like hitting a niggle and being like, "Oh no, I've hurt myself," and then like wake up the next day, but oh no, actually I'm all right.
I'll see. It's funny you say
35
that.
is like peak years, I think.
I think physically
Yeah.
it is, but like in look, but I don't know about. It's funny, like you just said about little niggle. I was doing dumbbell laterals like maybe yesterday, and I was just doing a set seated, and I must have just like had a little hop on the seat, like just a little hop, and I put my back out basically, just doing
Oh,
that.
fuck.
I'm like, how the fuck? Because I was in at night, I was in bed, and I was just like, I felt winded the whole evening on one side. I was like, I've put my back out doing a dumbbell lateral. What the fuck?
Mm.
So just
James,
shit
it
like
gets
that.
bad when the last time I put my belt, you know what I was doing? You putting my shoes on. So
Yeah,
yeah, it starts like you do it on a deadlift, and then you do it on like you say,
yeah.
like a lateral, and then you do it when you're brushing your
Put your shoes
teeth.
on.
And then,
No,
Yeah,
fuck.
mate, I do it
Excuse me.
going to sleep, so I'll like wake up and I put my back out.
yeah. Just turning over in bed.
Yeah, just
The
well, how did you do it? I went
Uh,
to bed.
one of the biggest issues I've noticed, and you probably noticed this too, is that do you notice when you put your shoes on, one side is so natural to do, and your body turns that way and puts
yep,
it on correctly, and then when you try to do the same
it's,
form on
it's
the
so
other side,
funny.
it's
Inform.
yeah, like you can't emulate the form, so you have to
I have to put my shoes on with my left hand.
yeah, and you
So I
have
do
to
that
put
one,
one. You can put
then I
your
put yeah.
but you can put like your left shoe on, for example, with the inside of your foot showing. And then when you go to put your like right one on, you've almost got to turn your right heel out so that it's bending the same way as your left leg. So your hips are. It's I don't know. There's just some weird thing going on where I can't. My body just doesn't know how to put a shoe on unless I fucking bend myself in a specific position. And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
why
just
I have
like,
to put both of my shoes on with my left hand. So I do it
yeah,
naturally with the left side.
yeah,
If I try and do this, my body will not bend the
yeah.
correct way. So I have to
True.
do like a yeah, it's
Do you
weird,
think
man.
that's?
It's
Do you think that's because of like all the years of like wiping our asses a certain way?
Yeah.
Because it kind of feels like that. Because like I can only imagine trying to wipe my ass with the other side,
Oh yeah.
and it would feel very off.
Insane. I might
That's
start doing it to
that's why
just
quarter turns always really hard one way, aren't they?
fuck me. Do you reckon that's actually it?
Yeah, because you got one quarter turn that just spins so easy, and you're like you can rotate the whole way around,
I
and
reckon
it's
that
probably the side that you put the shoe on,
is
and then
it. Is it the
and wipe
right
your bum.
side? Which one's yours?
Well,
Yeah, mine is the
yeah,
one.
I wipe my right, and I lean my quarter turn to the right is so much easier.
yeah, when I think about it, yes, that is correct. My
Oh
quarter
my
turn,
god.
and I always do side chest on the right. I
Yeah.
used to do side tricep on the right, and I do wipe with the right side.
And
So
it's all
yeah.
So
based on wiping your ass.
so basically, if
But
you can
basically, your posing would improve. I was going to say poo in there. Your
improve,
posing would improve if you alternated wiping.
Yeah.
we should establish that someone
Yeah.
needs to
That
take
should
that.
be in the new ebook.
I was just going to say that we could sell that.
Yeah, the
We were
old
talking about James's new training routine. What was it going to be called, James?
Oh, you said J.
Hybrid Hollingshead HIT or something.
I thought he was throwing all sorts of fucking what's it called acronyms at me. I was like, I don't even know. The
Yeah, it was Hollingshead Hybrid HIT Triple H training.
Triple H
Triple H.
Helmsley, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Yeah, you'd probably get the trouble for that, would you? Triple H training.
Get copyright strike. I'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but man, it's been a weird few weeks, like I say, because of social media has just been such a fucking head fuck for um Me as an
Yeah,
individual, I know
because
it's
you're a very, I'm not going to say sensitive, but you're very sensitive, respectful kind of, and it's hard for you to just to say, I think, just fuck off, because
I'm
again, you have a level of professionalism, which is obviously you have to have, but some people don't do this. Some people do just say, listen,
hmm,
just fuck off, like,
I think I'm an energy. I feel energy. And the
yeah,
problem with that is that as good as it can be, like if I'm around people who are really positive and I can take so much positive from that, unfortunately, it's quite easy to penetrate my kind of defense with things that are fickle but mean something to me. And then it can lead to kind of a snowball of feeling a certain way. And then once that happens, is the defenses are fully down, and then everything just can get through. Um, and again, I'm not saying I thought I'd bring this up just because it's such a common subject that we talk about social media and the positives and the negatives of it. And earlier, like today, I was just like, man, without it, as much as it has been beneficial, without it, things were and are so much better for us as people. Um,
yeah,
I feel like long form content like this is a lot better. Like I think doing podcasts and stuff, because it's not some instantaneous spiteful words just thrown at people and that hit hard immediately. If you want to listen to a podcast, you have to sit there and concentrate and listen to it. I think what's become a problem is that the world's obsessed with this TikTok sensation of short clips. Take what you will that will have an effect, and throw it out there so it's almost very impactful. Um, and I just noticed that in my bodybuilding and my confidence as a human has definitely been affected for the worse since being more exposed to social media, which is a problem in itself, just because the nature of what we do for work now is a social media business. Our contracts and
yeah.
stuff require for us to be present and online and try to show what we do. But it's at a point where showing what I'm doing, I make a real effort. I go to like the Arnold and I've got Liam with me and I'm filming the whole meet and greet and stuff. It just gets to a point where you're like, you know what? Fuck it, this man. Just like keep yourself to yourself and just like, if I'm going to do anything, just something like this where I come and chat to the boys and it's actually good for you as a person. I feel like we all give away a little bit too much sometimes.
I think
Um,
you do, James, sometimes, and that's not a negative kind of comment. And this is why I said on my story, and I tag you because a few guys from the gym had said, "Hey, man, you didn't say James was coming," and I said, "Listen, the guys allowed a day off. It wasn't a work obligation, or you were coming to train with the boys, have a day off. If I'd have announced you were coming, you probably would have got more traction on the day and stuff, and you wouldn't have got as much private time, if you like. Because I know if someone comes up, you will take a picture and you will
Oh
say
mate,
hello, and
and you know
that's
what,
just the type of person you are.
and I will say, like, listen, like, because many people did, I do appreciate it. It's not unappreciated. Um,
Yeah,
I do really appreciate it. It's
but
just,
you do have to have some time off from it
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, you have such a long period of time where you haven't done that, and it ends up getting, whew, you know, you come fresh off the Arnold meet and greet, and then you get people telling you advice and what they think you need to do, and sorry that you didn't do well, or I don't know, just a lot of information,
It's a
information
tough one,
overload.
James, because when you're on the coming up, you look at those guys and you think that must be awesome. Because I get this all the time because not so much now, but I always felt like I was getting pulled left, right, and center everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes I still feel a little bit like that way now.
yeah,
And certain people will comment and say, oh, that must be awesome. And I do say sometimes it's not, because you just like to just go
yeah,
away and recharge and like
yeah.
stay away from it all. So again, at your level, I'm not kissing your ass by saying that, because every stage you go up a notch,
Mm.
and even that kind of amplifies the social media, the
Yeah, for
contract
sure.
obligations, all that stuff. But yeah, you do need to kind of like can leave it alone and recharge.
I'll tell you what the frustrating thing of it is that you said you use those words at your level. Now
Yeah,
I know I'm of a level. I know when I bring it, I'm very, very good. I know it. But the problem is that everything that's going on currently and the amount of time and energy and distractions and pull-in doesn't allow for people like me to reach our level. And then you get that, and then you get the problem is you get the backlash that, oh, he's not as good as where people think he is and shit like that. And it's like, no shit, Sherlock, because I'm not left alone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's just a truth that I haven't really spoke, is that the reason that people like me don't perform as well as we can is because we're not left alone enough to be able to perform, because we've always got
Mm.
critics in our ears that actually make you second guess every single fucking move you made, and actually put you in a place where you end up feeling very self-conscious and hard to trust anything you do. Whereas, like you say, on the come up, because you're not in that position of, I suppose, popularity and talk, you don't have people or noise. You just crack on. Some of my best shows, I remember like doing some amateur shows, like I say, the British finals and stuff like that. And it's just, you just got this clean run into the show, and all you're doing is thinking about the day. No critics and no distractions, and you can perform your best when that's the case. So that's the only thing I find frustrating right now. Is the sad truth is that obviously my skin isn't the thickest, and it does affect the outcome. And so, it's sad for me to witness it because I can feel it and I know it. And that's where there's frustration in my voice sometimes when I talk, because I'm like, well, of course I'm upset and disappointed with what, because I know I'm better than this. But at the same time, I'm trying to be a person that is relatable, and I oblige to try to be the best ambassador I can, but it is costing me.
Yeah, I
You know?
said this when we had the chat up the front, not getting all deep.
Yeah.
Um, you do try and keep everybody happy, and that's a good trait, but it also quite self-sabotage as well, because it's absolutely impossible to do that
Like, I'll
and
be
be
real.
at your very best.
I'll be real with you now. Like, I'm flying to America tomorrow. Great opportunities. There's people there I love. I get to train in all the great gyms and that. But there is a part of me that's like, James, for your own head fucking space, just fuck the trip off. And I've said this to you. I've said this to close friends like Adrian that owns last side. Fuck the trip off. You get your head right for you, and you be quiet for as long as you need to be, and you turn up at the show when you feel ready. Instead of people pleasing, instead of feeling like you're letting people down, because though you feeling like you're letting people down, the problem is you're letting yourself down. And I keep doing that. Like I said
Yeah.
to like Adrian today, he's like, I'm on a real nice run at the minute where I've got everything in place. I have a lovely home. I've got a gym I like training. My body's responding. I would like a few more weeks of this progress to be followed, because I think that I could bring something better. But then I'm overwhelmed by the fact that I've said I'm doing something, and that I said I'll do it, and that if I don't do it, what if I regret not doing it? Um, so it's just, these are the things that we live with being in the game, and it's tough. Like, part of me really just wants to wake up tomorrow and say, no, Jay, you're in control. Fuck it, don't go. Oh, look, if you
Yeah,
can't do
but
the
the
show,
old you of 20 years ago would have like fucking loved this shit. Like, you wouldn't have dreamed that you
for
would have
sure,
got to
for
this
sure.
this level of opportunity. And I
Oh,
say this to like
for
guys all of the time.
sure.
When you're a younger guy and you want a sponsorship to be a better bodybuilder,
Yeah.
it's a tough one, because sometimes it doesn't make you a better bodybuilder, because you slip into the kind of, like you've just said there, James. You've got to do this as an obligation. You've got to do that as an
Yeah.
obligation. Like, and it does kind of chip away from your bodybuilding a little bit. I mean, Dan's picked up a sponsorship with DY and stuff now. He's on 500K a month. Obviously, jokes aside, even when you're even when I got my little sponsorship with so and so Body Temple and stuff, you get little things that you have to do, when it takes away from your training. Then you get to a higher level, then you have to do more. And that even takes away more from your training and stuff. So,
Mm.
yeah, really, day and
I,
age where young guys are wanting a sponsorship to be better bodybuilders, but it might not actually
The
make
thing
you
is,
into a better bodybuilder. That's a bit deep, but
I'll say this:
yeah.
I don't mind it, and I like having obligations. But I do wish that sometimes people would say,
Excuse me.
I do wish sometimes all the people involved would stop and say, James, are you okay to do this?
Yeah.
I haven't once had someone say, James, how are you feeling, apart from my close friends like you guys? Like, shows I've committed to, or people like that, friends of mine. I'd like them to like just say, James, don't feel obligated to do something unless it feels right for you. Because I don't know,
Yeah.
I just like to be considered once in a while. That's it. Boom. And then I wouldn't feel that super negative energy when I'm like, you know what? No, thank you. Now I feel like I can make a decision that's probably better for me in the long run. Because there's, again, we have these, we talk on this podcast, and again, I'm sorry that I come in and we make these episodes quite personal. It's almost like
No,
fuck.
these are the better episodes,
Yeah,
really,
no, no,
because
no.
we've all talked
I
about
do.
dumbbell curling fucking
Yeah.
5,000 times over. So No, we
it's
appreciate you coming on and talking about it, to be fair.
it's like you say, it's just I'll be real with you, it's been a fucking bit of like a year that's been quite tough. Like, doing the Arnold last year, opening the gym and being able to prepare for that. And I did that all on my, I did that all while I was moving the gym around and putting everything in place and making that place somewhere special. And then you ultimately you get shat on and you lose the gym because you have to walk away, which for reasons I don't really need to go into, but we know kind of the situation. So I'm like I was spent the first big half of the year very upset that something I've put my energy into is no longer something that's mine, and people are still going in there and enjoying it, and but enjoying it now without the person that kind of made it. And then
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I've got to fucking stay strong and do the Arnold because I've told myself, I am a pro bodybuilder. I'm doing it. I'm going to turn up. Um, and then, positive note, obviously Yannicka is pregnant out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck? Which is great. It's great, but it's also just again, it's just something else going on
pressure.
in the whole the washing machine that's spinning right now. So yeah, I think sometimes I just think there's just a lot going on. And again, like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, my life's hard, my life's not. I'm fucking in a good position, man. I say my only frustration is that I just wish sometimes I sat there and made decisions based a little bit more on long-term mental health and didn't feel so doom and gloom that sometimes I put myself first.
Yeah,
But
The
you
thing
know,
about someone coming and asking, like, "Hey, are you cool?" Like, the outcome might be the same. You'd be like, "Don't feel obliged." Okay, I won't. Now I'll make a decision. The decision still might be the same, but
yeah,
at least you actually feel like it's your
for
decision.
sure. Because
Like,
that's the thing, I don't feel like any decisions are my own.
it feels better that way, right? It
Yeah,
might be the same. Oh, now actually I can think clearly because I don't have the pressure, and actually I do actually still want to go.
for sure. Like if someone said it to me, because I ultimately have those conversations. That's what I'm doing with myself because I don't have that conversation with someone. So again, I'm like sitting there, like I'm saying, and I'm like I said to Amp, I've been listening to these like high frequencies of music just to. It's weird. They're like these kind of frequencies that seem to just take you in between thoughts in a space that you don't know you had.
Like binaural beats, as
Yeah, 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 yeah. So you
yeah.
kind of, I know there's just there's sound within there's space within sound, but it's still sound, and it takes you somewhere where you're able to just concentrate on things that are more important and less bullshit. And that's when I try to make most of my decisions in a minute is during that time. And I definitely feel like I have a little bit of a better grip on putting things in order. Like, if you've got priorities, you're like, okay, so this is priority one, two, three, four, five. But it's very early stages of that. So I'm hoping that in time, that's something that becomes a bit more, I don't know, just beneficial in the long run.
Mm.
So,
But also,
uh,
you're like still in like prep mode. You're in it. Like,
oh, deep, balls deep,
yeah,
balls
like,
deep.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Balls
this is
deep in my body, and I won't lie, Dan. Like I said, Dan, my body's been a bit of a difficult one to kind of balance at the minute. Um, been having to like do the things you don't want to do in regards to like none of us want to like have to eat loads of food when we're close to a show because it makes us feel like we're doing what we shouldn't. But I've had to like make those. I've had to do shit like that because my body's doing certain things, which is a little bit of a new position for me to be in. So you kind of just again, it's just another thing you're trying to manage. And obviously, it could be worse. You could be so fucking ill, like you could be sick, you could be whatever. But again, it's just like finding yourself in new scenarios where you're like, shit, I'm not because it's new and unfamiliar. Confidence is like, oh, because I'm
mm,
I'm trying to figure out. And I won't lie, obviously Stefan's my coach, but I've had to bounce. I'm back in that position again where I've had to take a little bit of control and send it to him and say, look, this is the situation. This is what we're going to have to do with foods because I've been here before. And when I've left it, when I've just continued on the same path as we were on, there ain't no coming back. So
mm,
just like stuff like that. So it's just again, bodybuilding has its weird little ways because you're trying to ultimately in bodybuilding, it would be nice to be able to just fully to say, look, you tell me what to do.
mm,
It'd be great, but it's just not a very realistic scenario. And I think you
mm,
two are the same.
no,
Like I know that Amph obviously helps you, but you've obviously someone that bounces back and forth because you have your own knowledge. And I know that Amph was you said to me like you can never fully let anyone tell you what to do because you just had so much instinct. And where do we stand with
Yeah,
that? Like,
a lot of mine was obviously because of the diabetes thing, but I think I
for
would have
sure.
problem with somebody taking the full reins because you've been doing this for so long, haven't you? Not that you think you know it all, because you do need someone in your corner, especially when like now, James, and the head games and stuff kick in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody thinks you just have to go to the gym, train, eat, and sleep. It is a lot more than that.
I know.
The head game's like 80% of it, isn't it? So that's why you're sitting in the room listening to high frequency music and
Dude,
trying to
I wouldn't be
relax
doing
and
that in the off
stuff.
season when you got loads of food in you and
Exactly.
like less
Yeah.
drugs. Shit, I'd be
But
like,
like without, because obviously what you're saying is like not specific, and call me out if I'm being out of line here. But the Arnold, you did the flat thing, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like the thing that
What
used to
what
happen,
what
and
happened to
you,
me and Patrick at the Olympia?
yeah, you know, and it drove out, and then I guess you weren't able to pull yourself out of the hole of going food too low for too long, and the upper flattened out like it has, like it has done.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I spent 2 years rectifying that myself. So
yeah,
2021 Olympia was the last time I let someone prep me fully. And then when I did the 22 Arnold and the 22 Tsunami and the 24 Arnold, I pretty much did my own shit and I
mm,
fixed a lot of that issue of being flat.
mm,
Maybe didn't get in the same kind of condition I'd like to, but I fixed the issue that was bothering me the most.
mm,
And it was mostly to do with like foods and refeeds, like in all honesty. So I kind of, when, I'm happy to listen and do stuff, but when I feel that you're going down a certain avenue and you're like, oh shit, this feels familiar again.
mm,
Obviously, I saw it through because I'm not going to not see something through. It's just a shame that when you see something through and it's on the stage that big where everyone sees, it's like fuck.
mm.
If it's like a little like if I did a
Yeah.
show before the Arnold and then I had the Arnold like 3 weeks later, I'd be like, okay, sweet, I can fix this maybe. So
But it's just because it's a straight up, maybe it's not a unique situation, but it is a you thing. You've had problems with
it's a me situation where a lot of
yeah.
coaches seem to find it difficult to know how much to feed me.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe because it's not quantifiable. It's
It's
kind of knee jerk. Like,
dude, I'll tell you now, like Dan, when I was prepping the last 3 shows I did, I kid you not, obviously I was still friends with Jordan and he was like my second eye. And I mean like every third or fourth day, granted again I could have been sharper, but every third or fourth day, it was like, mate, once it's 5 p.m., just eat whatever till you go to bed. Like again, like maybe if I had held that off maybe for a day or two more every week, then I would have had a slightly better end result in regards to condition. But the one thing that did happen is that I didn't look out of place size wise. And one of the most infuriating things for a bodybuilder, I tell you now, especially as an open one, is when people are like, "Oh, you don't have enough muscle." And I'm like, bro, I know when I have had enough muscle. Trust me, it's just fucking that you don't bring it.
what
Yeah.
it's at the pro level, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, if you're not carrying weight side by side, you're sidelined immediately.
You're fucked silent, bro. The
It's
silhouette,
not like amateur where like if
the
you're not
condition carry
conditioned,
you
you
a little
get
bit.
sidelined.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
no,
mean? You have to be in nick. It's a different.
pro shows, especially Arnold and Olympia, you have to have a certain size about you, otherwise you're not even getting a look in. Bad.
Yeah.
If you don't fit, if you haven't got the size, muscularity on the day, you get put to the sideline. And you're not even in that first call out, and it's like fuck, and you can't fix that quick, and that's the frustrating part.
No, well, I mean, I guess some people can, but with a rig as far as yours, and if you've done so long on the low food, there's a point where it doesn't absorb, and
Dude, especially when like Amp knows, like if you're feeding often, your blood sugar's high, cortisol's high, anxiety's high.
mm,
Maybe you got a few things wrong in terms of like some of the supplements in regards to like estrogen and stuff like that. When you got like maybe 5 or 6 things that are kind of working against you, that's not a fix in 3 days. That's why I'm in this like say this position right now where I'm like kind of happy that I'm not wanting to rush because I'm like letting my body come back to life because I've made those adjustments that we're talking about, and I'm seeing it start to pop again. But I don't want to cut it short because I'm like
mm.
it can be a lot better than this. That's why there's like this 50-50 mind frame of me doing what I'm doing next because I'm like, ooh, you know,
I'm
Do you
going to
reckon
step in here, James, because I know what you like a little.
uh,
Well, I think I quite know you quite well, and
uh,
I think you know what you need to do, but you don't want to let people down. So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
in the imminent kind of yes, you're doing the right thing, but in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years time when you might retire, will you look back and think, fuck, I wish I just kind of made that decision on my own bat. And
Yeah,
I know you get like contractual obligations and stuff. And yeah, you're in a spot where you don't want to let promoters down. You don't want to, if you said you're doing a contest, you should do it, but should you? It's a
I
tough
don't
one.
think you should. Like, in all honesty, it's not even a money thing. Like, listen, if a show wants £1,000 off me for not turning up, or whatever, I'm happy to pay it because it's my error. Like, it wouldn't bother me
Yeah.
at all, and I think that's fine. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, I know you're
Um,
fine with that, but you're more having an issue with what people think of like, oh,
of
James has pulled
me,
out, or
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And
And them not really knowing the why, and not giving me the benefit of the doubt to just be me. Like,
yeah,
I don't make decisions for no reason, you know. Like we said, this whole podcast is like the decisions are being made because they're important decisions, and it's a lot on the line. With bodybuilding, you only get so many years and you only get so many shots, and every show you do that it didn't go how it should or whatnot is you just putting your health on the line. Potentially another diuretic use, potentially another week of fucking depleting and filling yourself up and playing around with all the fucking electrolytes and orals and stuff like that. It's just all like you only get so many spins of that coin, like flips of that coin, and every time you do it and you know that you're probably not going to land on head, is it even worth it? It's like, no, let me at least get myself to a position where I feel like it's more likely to fucking land on the heads. Because
yeah.
it's strategic. Bodybuilding is not a normal sport. It's not like you don't just turn up and fucking swing a golf club and hope that your skill is in the right place on the day. There's health factors involved. Like you could be on point, the most on point person ever, but your body starts to do things where it's unhappy because it involves so many more things other than just performance.
Mm.
So, and
There's
that's
nothing
another
to
thing people
hide.
don't consider.
There's nothing to hide about. I've said this as well. That's why I think like bodybuilding, like nutrition is way ahead of everything. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, there are like harder sports, arguably like MMA or whatever.
Oh,
But
for sure.
if I missed a couple of like meals or whatever, that's hard in the event. But I could maybe like outskill or go to the ground or like I've got options. When you're just stood there,
Don't have any. You can't fuck. And let me say something as well. We were talking about genetics earlier. There's certain individuals in this sport that don't have that margin of error that others have.
mm,
You take a Brandon Curry, yeah, and Brandon could be 10% off. He's still going to be a top six Mr. Olympia guy, top eight.
yeah,
Someone like me, if I ever want to crack that top six, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'd have to be 100%. And that's the difference. And it's like, how many times? What do you want for you? Like, I know it's possible, but I want it to happen, and I don't want to keep
yeah.
fucking taking risks, and
We had
balls.
this chat, James, didn't we? If we said if you come in like 5% off, it makes you
It
look
shows, man.
25% worse, if
Yeah,
that makes
a little
sense.
bit flat.
But
Looks
if
like
let's say if
under
Samson
muscled.
comes in 5% off,
Still wins
he
the
looks
show.
5% off.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't look 25% off.
But the
That's nothing to do with
caveat,
Samson.
the caveat
That's a
to that, the caveat to
props.
that is because I know I haven't brought in 100%. I do personally think that if I brought in 100%, it would shock a lot of people
Yeah.
because of that. I think it would just have a look to it. I'm confident it'd have a look to it where people would just be a little bit like, "Fuck, that's way more impressive than I anticipated." And I,
Ju-
and you
Yeah.
have to live with that hope as a bodybuilder. That's the hope you live with. Otherwise, why'd you do it?
Always, always. I'm sure no one thinks they've hit their 100, like actually, but like
Exactly.
a
If you did,
95 would
if
be
you
solid.
did, you'd be like, maybe after you retire, you could be like, you know what, that was probably
Yeah,
close. But
it's
in the
definitely a look back, isn't it? It's definitely
yeah,
you'd only know in hindsight, right?
yeah. In the pursuit of, you have to be
Yeah,
like keen and eager to want,
yeah.
more.
Do you think stress has like one of the biggest impacts on?
Yeah, and again, I think the stress didn't really exist before social media.
No.
That's the only thing I can really contribute to it.
Oh mate,
Because every time I think about it, I'm not the only thing that's bothering me is thinking about the wave of the aftermath.
yeah,
And if social media didn't exist, that wave of aftermath doesn't exist because I'm in my bubble.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
need to get on board some Dorian Yates kind of
Yeah.
fuck you energy, James,
well,
and like
I want to. This is why
kind of what
someone,
he's got now.
dude. This is why
What's
someone's.
what he says now? When you're truly like happy, you don't give a fuck. You need to kind of try and hold that on
Mm,
board somehow, and it's easier said than done because,
of course.
like you see, there's all that pressure on you now, and you can't just take that away.
A lot of it's just. I think environment is so key as well because if you can find an
Mm,
environment that you feel very centered in and almost that you enjoy to the degree where you're not really looking outside of it, then that's probably a very helpful thing.
mm,
Yeah,
Bodybuilding's almost become a bit global. Like again, going to Texas tomorrow It's amazing. But it also opens you up to being around a lot of other pros and talking to other people and entertaining conversation that sometimes could actually open doors to thoughts that weren't there before, good and bad.
Mm.
Whereas, like you say,
Yeah.
with Dorian, locking yourself in Temple and just fucking saying, you know what, I'm eating my fucking oats or my Weetabix, whatever he had in the morning, and I'm going to go train at 10 o'clock. Motherfuckers.
Weetabix.
That's it, because you know what I mean? Like, and all the
Yeah.
guys that done well are the same. Like, I've spoke to a lot of these guys. You just got to be able to lock
Like
yourself.
Jay Cutler, who used to say he used to hang the phone up like, boom, goodbye.
Yeah.
Branch Warren, like, fuck you. Like,
Bro, I watch Branch over and over again just for inspiration. And I just,
yeah.
you know, when you just, you know, when you watch someone, you're just like, and I'm not like this a lot, but I'm like, please just be a bit more like that guy. Because he's always made really good calls after I compete. Like at the Arnold, for example, like I'm on stage and Branch goes to Yannicka. He's like, man, he needs a burger and fucking fries. Like, don't bullshit. Like, he just says it for what it is. Like, that's his way of saying motherfucker's flat as a pancake. Like, that's what you.
That's a tough one, James, because you know when you just talked about before, I was going to dip in, but I didn't want to interrupt. So
Yeah.
I know what you're like now, because you feel like you're so flat, but you feel guilty when you're eating food. And
Oh,
I used to feel
bro.
that. And this is a big props there. I used to speak to a lot of guys. Again, I couldn't have like a coach take like 100% of the minutes just simply because of the diabetes thing. But I used to speak to Ken Hill back in the day. Ken Skip, I don't know sure you know Ken Skip, and he's still going with the coaching.
Okay.
And he kind of persuaded me, you need to eat.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had the hurdle of the blood sugar thing, but
Yeah.
I would have a real hard time. It would come to Saturday, it would be high carb day, and I would think, oh,
No.
I'm doing all of this hard work here. I can't eat like 1,000 grams of carbs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would do it, and I would manage to control my blood sugar, and then the next week I would progress and I would look harder
Yeah.
instead of just constantly like beating myself down and down and down and
Yeah.
down and
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
and you just look at a flat piece of shit. I had a real hard time of like, how am I able to eat all of this food and still progress?
Yeah.
You,
Well,
you feel guilty doing it, don't you? Like shit. Like,
and
and don't get me wrong, you have to be in a place where you're extremely lean already.
oh
You
yeah, you
can't
got
do
yeah.
this at like
Yeah.
fucking 15% body fat. You're not going to do that. One of the guys in the gym at the weekend, last weekend, I'm not mentioning his name just in case it's like private or whatever, but he's like, man, my legs look flat as shit. You know, the food's low, whatever. And I said, listen, have a couple of days off the cardio, have some food. Then he's dropped like, he's refreshed his body. His legs look a little bit better, and he still dropped 2 pounds this week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
he needed it, and it is tough to kind of pull back
justify.
and say that's the problem that bodybuilders have, don't we? It's like,
Yeah, because we're very
yeah,
we'd rather actually go to the gym and do 45 minutes cardio and get hypo. Just
yeah,
because that's what
because you feel like you're punishing yourself, and you should be doing that.
yeah. So but you do come to realize that the correlation between punishment and result isn't necessarily the one.
Mm.
I notice it every day that I have extra food. By the time I go to bed, I'm like, man, I don't want to do that ever again. And then I go to the gym in the morning, I do 20 minutes, just gentle 20-minute walk. I go in the posing room and I'm like, man, I don't even look fucking bad. Like, and you know why I don't look bad? Because I'm just upping the food with the right stuff. I'm not being a fucking pig. I'm not eating like pizzas and fucking, you know, I'm literally just adding consistent foods that I have in my nutrition and just bumping up the food and still being active. Like, you can't even, I know people that have done a show, binge a bit, don't train as often, and still stay in pretty good shape for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm still doing everything I was doing getting ready for the show. I just up the food from clean sources, and then maybe every 4 or 5 days, if weight drops about 3 or 4 pounds, I might get an Nando's. It's like it's nothing bad. It's just a head fuck. It's this.
Mm.
I know there's nothing bad, and if someone came to me wanting my assistance and my help, I'd be like, motherfucker, do that. Stop whinging. It's just again
Yeah,
because you live in your body. You know the feeling of feeling bloated, feeling a bit watery, feeling you know when you feel your lower back. You're like, oh, the skin doesn't feel as thin as it did yesterday, or the lines in my legs aren't as prominent. But then you know you go to bed, you sleep on it. You wake up in the morning, and you go and pose, and you're like, fuck me, I haven't taken a step back. So it's just coming to terms
yeah.
with stuff.
It's
And again,
probably did you some good, hasn't it?
it does. And again, I think none of that would bother me if I didn't feel like I was answering to thousands of fucking people. Because when you're just answering to yourself, it's not a problem, man.
I
So
mean, like
Yeah,
the social media thing as well. It's like not to collapse the world, but it's a it's an echo chamber. So it does feel like, but there is literally 90% of the planet doesn't know who Ronnie Coleman is.
I know, and yeah,
Like
it's
it's
yeah,
like sometimes you do need to zoom out, and it's like, yeah, this is super important. It's my world and stuff
yeah,
like that. but in the spans of life of
Yeah.
existence on this planet, like
Yeah.
There's a
I agree.
whole everything else out there.
For sure.
I'm sure it's the same if you're like a yo-yo expert.
Oh, mate, anything. I can't, because I've never walked those paths. So hard to know, but it must be the same. And like, again, these when we do these podcasts, it's a subject. Although I am putting myself forward as a subject, we're doing these to talk about a subject,
Mm.
and it's one that just gives reference to something ongoing at the minute. So, and it won't always be about like me. It's only because I'm in prep. Like the whole point is talking about all of us and what we go through and our understanding of bodybuilding and what it means to us and stuff. So,
But this is the shit people don't like. They're not talking about it, or they think it's like a low level thing or whatever. So it's so much more useful to have someone that's been all the way to the limit and stuff and go like, actually, like it's just as ropey here. Like,
oh, dude, you can have
Yeah.
2 years ago you could, things just change. Like 2 years ago you could have felt like on top of the world, and then this year you might feel like you're not, and then in a year's time you feel like you're even better than you've ever been before. So that's just life, and it's just again it's down to us to try to find a way of, I suppose, just managing it, isn't it? And
well,
I
I
think,
still think like the punishment and the thing, and you're saying like the things that we're used to, like suffering equals results. Like it is still a life's work until you get to the point where you have to actually reverse that.
yeah,
First, you
yeah,
prime your mind to be able to deal with
yeah.
like the hell.
You do need to have that fortitude, because there will be times that summon and require that.
Yeah.
Especially appetite, like for sure when you're digging down and like you get those nights where you're laying in bed and you don't sleep because the stomach's growling. That's just part of the process. But
Yeah.
you will find as you get bigger and more further into your bodybuilding that your body does a lot of the work for you because you're more muscular.
Mm.
So you're burning calories because you're just a bigger person.
Because you exist.
Yeah, because you just exist.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
you got a 270-pound engine running there, James. You're not like a fucking
no, it's very different. And
5-pound
yeah,
novice.
but that's why, like I say, 20 minutes of like a relatively easy cardio goes a long way with someone that weighs this much versus maybe someone who
Yeah,
doesn't.
you probably had to do like an hour to get the same
For
equipment in
sure,
your
for
amateur
sure,
days.
absolutely. 45 minutes twice a day.
I'm lucky that back in the day, I didn't give a shit when anybody thought we had players. I literally did not give a shit about that. My problem was always trying to accept some help. I would
Yeah.
never accept any help when I kind of really needed it. So I do remember one point. This is always one thing that sticks on my head, and I am getting better because I'm still bad for it now. Like if I could generally do with some help, I'll still say, "I'm fine." And that's kind of like a bad trait, if you like, because the people who help you get something from it, and you get some help. So
For sure.
both parties kind of benefit. But I remember like it was when I had Max Muscle, and I was like 2 days before I was going to Toronto, and like the gym needed to restock up with some water and stuff. And I'm like at Costco. No, it wasn't Costco, it was Macro. You call it Buckers or something.
Yeah, I know macro.
And I'm pushing like a big, massive trolley full of like water in the rain.
Absolutely fucked.
And like, I thought, why are you doing this? All of the lads said, you need a hand ready. Just let us know what you need.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm fine. But I wasn't fine. I was absolutely fucked on my ass.
Yeah.
Like stressed from every angle. And I was just like, absolutely just hammered. And I thought, why didn't you say like, yeah, lads, it's fine. You can get the water if you don't mind. They would have been pleased that they're helping out. I could have sat in the house and like not being absolutely fucked before I flew off to Canada. Yeah, this stupid shit like that. I was bad at like accepting help for whatever reason.
Do you think some of that comes down to like, I remember having a conversation with Steve Avery or watching somebody said, do you think there's like a little bit of self-hate as well though? Sometimes like you want to punish yourself because I don't know, like there's some things that happen in the past where you kind of like you hold a little bit of resentment towards yourself. So then sometimes it's like I know that when Yannicka reaches out to give me a hug and stuff sometimes, even when I'm like, I don't like to accept love. And that feels like that. I don't know if you're again like not accepting help is almost like no, I don't deserve.
I do know where it comes from. I've kind of worked it out where it's come from, and
Yeah.
it's all this childhood bullshit. I won't get all deep in it.
Yeah, but it's obviously
coming. All that stuff. Yeah, I do know where it comes from, and that's why I know it's kind of a bad trait, and it's not good to kind of
continue that,
accept help and act that way because I won't go all ballsy. We'll speak in private or if you like.
For sure,
I do know where it comes from. This is why I always feel I still feel bad when I rest. I'm weird. Like if I've got nothing to do, I'm like shit. I should be doing something. Like
you can't just
it doesn't work.
Yeah, you can't just do a couch.
Everybody's allowed to have a rest or a day off. I'm kind of bad at that as well, which I'm kind of working it. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like learning as I go. But good. Weird shit, man.
No, but that's good. At least like, without having to go into details, at least people that are listening They know it's stemming from something that you can identify. It's not just a weird trait.
Yeah.
Because that's what in myself, there's definitely something that's caused that. Well, and again, it's probably because of feeling unworthy of being reciprocate, like of receiving love until I've done
Yeah.
something to prove myself worthy of it. And you never feel like anything you do is good enough. So I don't know. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
it's very, very relatable. Very
It
relatable. So
generally does come from childhood. I hate to say childhood
it
trauma
does
because
though, but it
it
has
is.
to
It is. It
because
is.
that's when we've
It
had
is
our issues.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, like man, Yannick will go to hug me, and like any normal person will be like, "Oh, it's nice to get a hug," and I'm like, "Don't touch me," not because I don't want to hug me, but I'm like, I am not.
Not yet.
Yeah, not until
Not
I've
Yeah,
not
deserving
yet,
yet.
not
not
yet. Wait
yet.
till I've done something that benefits. Oh yeah, it's weird, it's stupid.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is actually not how love
should
should
be. No,
be
love should
anyway.
carry you through. Like love should be accept it in the moment because it'll probably help you go further. So
Mm.
again, we know these things and we say these things. It's just putting them into fucking practice is such a different fucking reality, isn't it?
I'll give you my therapist's number, James. You can stick it on the chat.
Mate, I definitely need a therapist. I need therapists and I need some fucking drugs that make me feel relaxed. And that's
I've
no
got
bullshit. Everyone smokes weed or does something, and I have no vices like that. And I definitely need something that just makes me go,
don't because I just got loads of Oromorph.
"What's that then?"
Yeah, mate, that makes me feel hot. Not. I didn't use it for recreational purposes. When I bust my neck and back,
It's just
they
like a
gave me
painkiller.
Oromorph. It's fucking horrible. It just makes me itch and like can't sit still. But some people say it
Makes them
chills
chill.
them like right out. Does that make you chill out, Dan? Oromorph?
I've it's
Basically liquid morphine, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it's emergency only. I haven't opened it.
Okay, okay, it's
So
smoking.
you've got to see that on the channel.
Yeah,
He's actually had some before we came online.
it's a
Oh
Because
mate,
you do seem pretty chilled, Dan.
it's just a bit late. I'm just soaking
Honestly,
it. I'm
the
soaking it
time I
up.
had my surgery when I went to see Hosey and Evan in Boston, then we trained legs, so my legs were fucking crippled. Like, couldn't even walk. I've told the story about how I got the farmers and I trained legs with Hosey and Evan. Hosey just tickled them and they were just fucked. I couldn't even walk down the bank. And I got to the pharmacy for my script after the surgery. And she's like, "Oh, sorry, you need a passport." I was like, "Oh, I gotta fucking walk all the way back to the bank and back." But they give me some, I think it was Percocet. I know we shouldn't talk about this kind of stuff anymore.
no,
Yeah,
it's
I was just lying in the bed, felt unreal. I was like, yeah, I can understand why people get hooked on that shit.
dude. I've never had anything of any decent.
Oh
Yeah,
man, they
never
were
really
like,
had anything. But I
yeah,
would love something just to make me feel like that super heavy feeling where you just like, you know what, I'm happy being here. I had
Mm.
a like I did have a joint a while ago, and I remember sitting in a chair and just being like, this is good for me. You know, that's it. Just didn't need anything else. It was just like this chair's great. If everyone else is happy around me, I'm chill. But I just
man,
don't.
that's fine as long as you're taking care of your other state and you're not sitting around on your sofa getting stoned all day. I think this
Oh
kind
no,
of
is that
usage
yeah,
abuse,
yeah, yeah,
thousand
definitely. I
percent.
for me it would be like I probably would say maybe if it was like a couple of days a week.
It's
Yeah,
just
I have
respite.
no problem. I take a little bit of THC vape before bed to help me sleep because I have a hard time switching off.
Yeah,
And Dorian was trying to get me on that stuff years ago for inflammation purposes and stuff.
yeah.
And I was like, nah, I don't want to take like I feel like a stoner and all that
Don't want to
kind of
rely
shit.
on anything. Yeah,
Yeah, but nah, man, it's absolutely fine. I either do that and I can sleep fine,
yeah.
or I don't do it
And you
and
can't
I
sleep.
end up being up 6 times a night and I can't
Yeah,
switch off. So
it's like a horrible
it's
feeling.
not like I'm blasting on it all day long when I'm at work and when I'm driving and stuff. I would never ever do that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
some
for
guys
sure,
do.
for sure, for
What's
sure.
the it's like a smaller watered down version of like psych meds. Like it's just a bit of respite, just a little time out. Like some people that have like serious psych stuff go on medication, not potentially for the long term, but just for a little break from like the hell that is their
Yeah.
mind, so they can like
Well, and again, I think we have to consider this: the nature of what we do with bodybuilding. An average, well, to be fair, an average person has a can of Monster a day now, so they're all fucked. But for the amount of years that we've had, pre-workouts and stimulants and stuff, there's got to be a little bit of a repercussion that comes from using such things for such a long time and not attending to the aspect from the other side.
mm,
Because, essentially we're like spent years using something that's an upper. Uh,
dopamine
yeah,
depletion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we've never really done the opposite. So I suppose it's just a way to kind of um, restore a little bit of balance in that whole process in the body. Because again, go to bed at night, you've had fucking, I don't know, if you're in prep, you've had a clenbuterol first thing in the morning, and then you've had a pre-workout at 4 p.m. no wonder, you know, you fucking can't sleep. So it's just again part of the bodybuilding game. But I think it's not even just bodybuilding game now. I think, like I said, there's you go to every shop now and they have every drink can of Monster in there or Rain or whatever. So it's kind of just part of the times, really, isn't it? I think a lot of people are kind of caffeine and stimulated out of their fucking brains.
That's just for a normal person as well, James. Everybody's
I know.
CNS is just jacked up all day long.
All
Because
day
they're having
long.
some cigarettes, like you say, they're having 4 cans of Monster a day. They're on some nicotine gum. Probably having some tramadol for their back
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
That's without any kind of bodybuilder stuff. So I
Dude,
wouldn't feel
dude.
too bad if you had like
No, for
a couple
sure.
of puffs on a joint before bed,
But
James.
it's funny you say that.
Perfectly
Like,
legal, isn't it? For personal use in the
yeah,
UK,
I
I don't
think
know.
so. But it's so funny you say that because like 4 cans of Monster a day is not even a stretch because I've seen it. Like you say, first thing in the morning, someone like one of my staff maybe at the gym, can of Monster. Lunchtime, can of Monster. Round about the time before they end their shift, can of Monster. That's 3 down. And bear in mind, a can of Monster is 2 servings. And no one even looks
Yeah,
at it like that.
nobody drinks half a can.
Exactly.
They're
So
very strategic with that.
they've already
You talk,
done.
isn't it about 200 milligrams per can or something like that? And that's just for somebody to get through the shift at Amazon. They're not going to the gym
Yeah.
or like doing
They don't even
exerting
burn,
themselves.
they're not even exerting. So it is
How
kind of,
much caffeine is like in a cup of coffee? How much is like a
it depends, doesn't it?
double espresso?
I
Like,
think 80, isn't it? Or
Yeah, I think it's about 80, 100 or something like that. So it's
I do like I
yeah.
normally have a double espresso to start the day.
yeah, I don't know how you can drink a fizzy Monster first thing in the morning. I'd throw up immediately.
I'm never in the mood for that. It's too much.
Ah,
The fact that there's so much liquid in one of them is why I don't really have them.
yeah, the
It's fizzy
a
for
little
that.
fragrant espresso in the morning. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, little espresso and
Oh,
then
Dan's a coffee connoisseur now.
Yeah.
So he's sorry, this is what I was looking for before. Because when you didn't make it the weekend, Dan, where were you, Dan? Flying off the floor. We had Mr. Lacey saying you think you're an influencer now, so that's why you didn't turn up. Let's get him on.
too busy
Matt,
being.
Matt never holds back. Hold on. See if we can get him.
Yeah.
It's not coming on because my phone's silent. Basically, that is Matt slagging you off, Dan, but I'll send you that on
Oh,
WhatsApp.
Slagging you.
thanks,
I
man.
forgot to send you it. That's
Thanks,
Mr. Lacey
man.
just being
Cheers,
as
man.
direct as ever. We'll have to get him on one time, actually. We'll have to get him set up on Zoom and we can insult him.
For
Mate.
sure, for sure. He was
He's
having
got some good stories from back in the day at
mate,
Temple.
him and Yannick are having some great stories on the weekend.
I don't know if he can share much of them, but
Yeah, we're not. There might be some NDAs in place that he can't share the details.
yes.
Yeah. I was just looking at my other PC screen. For anyone interested, it's one of the good frequencies is 528 hertz.
What's that? The
I'm on
resonant
that shit tonight.
There's a few, man. There's like 700. There's different waves that do different things.
Yeah.
So
they did it in the pyramids and the resonant chambers.
yeah.
So the dimensions of the resonant chambers for healing.
Because you're a music
pyramids.
guy. Fuck shit. You'll become Mr. Music here.
I taught all this psychoacoustics.
Fuck, man. That's why I should be talking.
Dan, why haven't you mentioned this before? Just
was
myself and James were chatting the other night, and what happened was it was like, oh, remember this like high frequency, and I put my WhatsApp down, and I went to go to YouTube to search it, and my phone rang, so I kind of got sidetracked, and then I just forgot about it. I could have had a nice, chilled, relaxing week so far, but I just
Dude,
totally
That was
forgot.
it. You fucked
Dan, you've
it.
been holding back all this information. You didn't tell me this.
Oh yeah, mate. Like
Could have been Mr. Olympia by now.
cortisol would have been
Could
everything.
have had a full tricep.
Everything has a resonant frequency. Everything.
So this when we sorry, I'm going to go massively deep here because
Yeah,
I'm massively hyper vigilant here. When we talk about frequencies, does this exist between humans as well? Because I generally have a feeling that if someone's in a shit mood or I've come into like contact with somebody I kind of know that I'm not going to get along with, I do feel some like energy or frequency. I'm not trying to get all weird here.
So there's like
Does that exist?
frequencies that you hear between 20 and 20,000 hertz. So it's just that they're audible. Once they go up, yeah, we have dog noises and stuff. And then the amount of cycles per second goes all the way from like what you can hear and lower to like the rumble of an earthquake or right the way up to light, because light is actually a frequency as well. So the spectrum is infinite. You've got X-rays, gamma rays, ionizing radiation after light, and
so what about like human energy?
Well, it
you know, when we talk about vibrations and energy and all that kind of stuff.
As a recordable thing, no, but in theory, yeah, the resonant frequencies of our planet are what keep them in the solar system, but it doesn't know that we know that they're going on. like they are going on. It's what happens. Everything's balanced within the resonance of themselves. Like that's what's so mental. The thing about music as well is actually that music already existed. We just found a way of mapping it. Like an octave is double the frequency. So concert pitch A being 440 hertz, 880 is an octave higher.
Yeah, yes, because that's why it's the same key.
Yeah. So music already existed. We plucked it
Yeah.
and learned how to replicate it.
Okay.
So the theory behind people emitting their own energy is more than plausible, in fact, likely, yeah. But for us to actually be able to like record it
Yeah, it's not
and
special.
note it,
Yeah.
it's not there. But yeah,
It's
I
a bit crazy,
100%.
crazy when you think about it, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, there's the other thing, like a baby's child, a child's cry is mapped to the DNA of a frequency to the mother. The mother will hear it differently in a more
Okay.
being way.
In a way that's much more.
Yeah, like, and you know, but some certain birds that like lay eggs amongst hundreds, their call is they can identify.
Yeah. Even though
So
to us they sound
yeah.
similar.
So there's loads of shit like that that's programmed like way beyond our actual like
Capacity.
our conscious. There's subconscious things from the reptilian brain that is definitely happening.
So the reptilian brain is something that is present within us.
Yeah, formed first.
Okay.
So it's like
I'm definitely going to have some sleep medication. I'm just going to be looking at the ceiling like.
It's a prehistoric kind of part of it. Is it that
yeah,
old?
it's like the building blocks of our brains as they are now. It's basically the base. It still exists. If you look it up, that part of the cortex.
Why are we not all together right now with some fucking special
Mate,
chocolate?
we need the
special chocolate and the Barnsley Pitbull table that we were sitting at.
yeah.
It had the same chairs as Barnsley Pitbull.
We'll have to rebook that house again, James, because it's literally 2 minutes from the gym.
That was a really decent house.
I mean, I was thinking about this today. I was getting a bit carried away because I didn't want to train. I was getting annoyed with myself. I thought, yes. Then I got right into the training somehow. And I said, right, what if I could bring James when he's doing the contest? Since my elbow feels all right.
Let's have a run.
There's some things that I still really can't do, but why don't we do like a
Dorian Yates
full weekend of training? Like, I don't know. I was get Jack on board, do all the filming and stuff.
Getting proper excited.
Yeah. And then I just thought, you've only got one arm, man, so just chill out. No, I was thinking, you know what? Like, we're all getting a little bit older. We're not going to do this forever. And I always remember, and don't get me wrong, I've kind of recorded a lot of stuff that I'm really pleased that I did. In the moment, I didn't want to do it because I couldn't be asked because I just wanted to train. But I'm so glad that I did because it's documented just for the memories, if you like. And I remember speaking to Paul Baxendale. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it at the weekend. He's a little bit unwell, so big shout out to Paul. I hope you're doing okay. But he said, like, as much as he loved the days with training with Dorian and stuff, and the no nonsense of no filming and all that kind of stuff, he does wish it was kind of documented now because he's all, retired from it all. And looking back, he did wish that he had some more documentation of those times because it's great to have it up there, but it's nice to share with other people, or your kids, or your family and stuff.
Yeah,
this is what I used to do.
It would be good to get like if there was
a full week of training, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some other stuff in there.
Yeah, and then do you know what? Top it off, if there was the British Pro Show later in the year, you just go and win that as well. Just
Yeah.
Because then you could do like the training could be like 6 weeks out, so you look like good, and then you just film, and then you film the show and the result, and you put it at the end, and it's like because I think there's a pro show in like September or October or something in the UK.
Is there something happening? The Arnold's obviously not happening now. No.
Yeah, no, there's a Two Bros one.
Yeah.
So it's a qualifier for next year's Olympia.
The food out.
Get it in the diary, James. We'll book that marble table house out again.
Yeah. Danny can make it this time. But that would be really good. We could I think that'd be great. And man, I'd love that.
Let's do it. Diaries out.
Diaries out.
Well, I did meet the stadium when we first came on. I know you're traveling tomorrow. I was like, yeah, we won't keep James too long. We kept it like an hour and a half, so I do.
It's fine, man. It keeps my brain busy.
I've I like ticking the boxes the way that James speaks and open, I'm like, shit, yeah, that's me too. And I didn't realize.
Yeah, we
That's
all
all
just need to get
rubbish.
it. We need to book that house and all. Have like a get the mushroom chocolate out and have a cuddle, and then just retire.
First up, James.
James can win the British Pro Show. You can turn pro, Dan. I'll regrow a tricep, and we can all just be at peace.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think that'd be a worthy year. I could live with that. You're like, that was a good year.
That could feed me.
Yeah,
Fucking, it's going by fast, man. I was just speaking about it earlier. Like, we're going to blink and March is over.
I know.
Dan will be going into prep soon. How? Just quickly, Dan, because obviously you didn't check
Yeah,
in. We
for
won't
sure.
bring that up.
Yeah, what's going
Just
on?
because he's on holiday, James, doesn't mean that he's not supposed to check in.
Well, I
Explain
did.
yourself. It couldn't be an episode without giving you some grief, Dan. So why didn't you check in? You had your phone. Too busy
Because I'm a
partying.
fucking gangster, mate.
Oh, yeah, he's an influencer now. So
Yeah, I was,
yeah,
there's
not answer to anybody.
yeah, I just thought that I can't give someone complete control.
So now it's just a big game.
Oh, fucking.
That's rough.
So, what is the plan? Or is it not? Is it not a plan to be sold? Or are you happy to say what you're doing?
For me,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna try and win the British.
So there's a British this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet, 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 sweet.
So that's the plan.
So
And
that must be. Is that when this pro show is?
I don't know. It must September, I
Yeah, I
think.
think that is around that time then.
So maybe it's attached if there's a two British. So
Yeah, that'd be really good. Then we got all an excuse to be there.
yeah. Well, there you go then. It was fate.
Fate is very
Fate. We
important.
vibrated just right.
As the frequencies.
That was the frequency.
Yeah, I'd like to win that because I won the British back in 2021. 2020.
Yeah, you remember everything, don't you? Remember, like I just remember we were chatting on at the weekend. You remember like dates, times. I can't remember anything. It's
I'm,
so bad.
I'm pretty all right with like bodybuilding occurrences. I'm not a proper historian, but I kind of got some things I can remember.
Oh, Av, you were good. Remember when you came to mine, you stayed and you did we did bodybuilding nicknames.
No, yeah, I'm good at other
We
stuff,
went
just
deep.
not my bodybuilding. Like, I can't
Yeah.
remember what
Oh,
time I did this show or how old I was. I only just remember I turned pro in 2012.
Yeah,
that's it.
it's when we were talking because I said I was there in 2012. I'd done the juniors and obviously watched you win the
That's
overall.
kind of the only one I can remember. When people, this is total massively off topic, but you know the
Manchester.
deal, James. When people say they're not present, like I can't remember what it felt like to win any show. I can remember like all I ever remember is when you're waiting to get your name called, like if you've won or not, because there's two of you left. I remember like the feeling of the stomach and you put your head down, like
Yeah.
fucking please, like. But I don't actually remember what it feels like
Once
to
he
win.
said
It's
you.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
Do you feel
There's
like
a lot of bodybuilders say that, isn't there? Like they're not very present. They're just like, boom, next one, boom, next one, boom, next one.
do you think like when you win, it's like you don't win, it's like a relief you didn't lose? It's like
Yeah, a little bit.
Like
yeah, it depends how confident you are. I remember like winning the Europa, and I was like, I thought I was like going to be top 5, and when I won, I was like, touch.
that was a show.
I was like, that's touch.
That was
Because the people that are in that, I was like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, that was.
I'll
I
take that.
remember. I watched that live. That was sick.
Yeah, you are quite hard on yourself, James, which most bodybuilders are, but you've won some fucking good contests, man. So
Mate, that
take
show,
the pressure off yourself a little bit.
That show was Samson, Regan, Lucas Osladil, Rafa, Mark Hector.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good people in that show.
I remember that shit.
Yeah, that was like the lineup wise, that was a very, very good win.
Do you think it's a little bit to do with where like things are not expected of you as much?
Yeah, because
Kinda
back then
takes
it
the
was like,
pressure off a little bit.
there was no pressure really.
You're like coming up if you like.
Yeah, like I had a couple of third places in pro shows, so I knew I was doing all right, but didn't have that pressure on my back. And yeah, I remember being like backstage and looking at Mark Hector, thinking, "Man, Mark's winning this show. He looks so good," because he was probably the best condition he's ever been in. I didn't really know how I was stacking up, but yeah, just
Where did Mark get in that contest, James?
top 5, I think. I think he did good. He looked
Yeah,
good.
because there's again different levels. There's times when I've been backstage with Connors, I think, yeah, that guy's got it to do. He's the winner. And they get like 6th and you win, and you're like,
Yeah, you're like, whoa,
how the fuck how did that happen? Like weird.
Yeah.
Mark's shape is just his silhouette is just ridiculous. Like
I think
but he's not that big, but he looks big.
I think the best Mark for me is when he was a bit lighter when he worked with Abdullah. because his condition was just
Yeah, I mean, he's
like
had a lot of shit going on. He has
his
surgery.
shoulders bad. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Like I like how he looks now, and he is bigger now. But I don't think it's. I don't think it's a better look. I think the peeled Mark, because he gets like Mark gets pretty fucking peeled for a black guy.
yeah, yeah.
Like I mean, glutes were like Michael Lockett back in 2020,
Oh, I
and
remember that
Squared off.
fucking.
squared off, dude. And that was definitely. And his waist was so small. I
Mm,
like what he looks like now, but I don't think it's as good as what he did look like. And he could, probably the same with me. Like sometimes you just got to get bigger because the open class asks for that. But I
Yeah.
but
definitely did like that Mark Hector, and then Samson obviously just morphed from then. Just morphed. Like when I stand next to Samson at a show backstage, I'm always just like, I don't know how this guy has just continued to put the pounds of muscle on in all the areas he has without spoiling that physique. Like, and I know he doesn't even eat that much. It's
yeah,
like,
and his it was that one year when he seemed to just do back-to-back shows and still put on like
yeah,
50 pounds.
2022 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Like,
like I was just
did Romania, Prague, fucking, and then
yeah,
just
and
how do you?
just got
Bro,
bigger the whole
bro,
time.
he grew from the Olympia to the Arnold this year as well.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, and like what was he 39? Yeah,
It's gotta be, yeah, man.
yeah,
It gotta be, yeah, yeah,
and
Yeah, he's
just
a
like
late starter, Samson, wasn't he? Yeah.
mm,
yeah. Wild, wild. I don't think I've known anyone to be as good at putting on muscle on the second half of their career
yeah,
because it was the second half of his career.
yeah, it was yeah.
Like because he kind of hit a bit of a wall up to 2021,
Mm,
and then all of a sudden just like arms and shoulders and chest just kept growing. And I was like,
mm. Well, I remember having him on the Bash Bros podcast, and he was like, you know, when like you wake up in the night, and you're so hungry, and then you just go to the service station and like buy loads, and well, everyone's like, No,
when was that? What year was that?
I don't know. It was
Was that when he grew? Because if it was, we should be doing that.
no, it was like no, it was
Eating
before.
chocolate in the middle of the night.
It was like before. It was before.
Okay, so is this during prep as well? Like you do
Yeah,
that?
like yeah.
Yeah. See,
Um,
That's where I went wrong then. I used
yeah,
to eat ice cubes.
I used
yeah,
to eat ice cubes as well. So
yeah. As anyone, this is an idea that I've always thought is to make amino ice cubes.
you could do.
Yeah, I said that. I said that to one of the guys at the gym the other day. He's like, Star says, yeah, make some EA ice cubes.
Yeah, the ice lollies. It's something I've always planned to do and never done.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
EAA
I've never done it actually. We were going to start doing an EA kind of ice kind of crushed whatever at the gym. So we might do that this summer. We'll
Yeah,
call them
that'd be
nut
sick.
nabs.
I think if you get like a cherry flavor, cherry cola,
Yeah, it'd be all right.
love a bit of cherry. Cherry flavored aminos for me, like the
Yeah,
goat. But yeah,
James
Samson.
is just wanting to smash a burger right now. He's
yeah.
starving.
No, do you know I'm not that? No, 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 no. I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not that hungry because. So I had Nando's today. I had a pretty
That's
big
chicken.
meal.
It's technically chicken.
Yeah, but I
James,
I
it's all
had
right.
two fries, mashed potato, hummus, pita, double chicken wrap. So it's quite a substantial meal. And then my meals are like, I'm just making sure I eat 6 to 7 meals a day because six wasn't enough. So, um, and I've got a diary. I just adjust the meals. If I feel like I need a little bit more carbs, I have a little bit more. So typically anywhere between 80 to 120, 130 carbs per meal, depending. It could be as low as that or as high as that. And then if I feel like I need to
Yeah.
add a little bit of fats or a bagel, I just do it. I'm kind of just listening to the body right now regarding that.
Are you noting it down so you can look
Yeah.
back at it?
Yeah, I write down everything I do. I've got a baseline diet and then I write everything that I've done slightly different a day. Because it was actually Stefan today when I sent him my weight this morning. Because I lost 3.5 pounds overnight and I had a high day yesterday. I had an extra meal and extra food yesterday. And my weight still lost and I looked quite flat in certain areas this morning. And he was like, man, you got to do nanos today. So I've even convinced him to because he's not
Yeah.
that guy. None of his other clients are having that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
So
once you get the body fat off, James, you've got a massive room to play with, haven't you?
yeah, as long as you're not like eating cake and stuff, I think it's like
Yeah.
I think you can be pretty broad with the amount of carbohydrate, good fats, and protein you eat. So I mean, like the difference between having an extra 50 to 60 grams of carbs per meal with maybe an extra 5 to 10 grams of fat per meal. I think at this point, it's actually just helping you.
Yeah, I am big on eating more like healthy food. I'm not a big fan of like, obviously
I
not for
tried to
myself because
avoid,
of the diabetes and stuff, but yeah,
yeah,
Corn's like, Yeah, it fills you out and stuff, but it just causes inflammation as well with all that
For,
shit
for,
that's in there.
for me, I'd rather have like something semi, like I say, like a Nando's that I'm semi in control of.
Yeah.
And again, this was kind of a conversation that I had briefly with Sean Tavernier because he did the 2011 Grand Prix and looked like dog shit. Don't know if you remember that. Looked skinny,
Yeah, really
and he
flat.
ain't a skinny guy. And then he did 10 weeks later the Toronto Pro and won and qualified for the Olympia, and he looked way bigger. So I just, I've known him for a while, and he's always been someone that's very happy to kind of share some experience. And I was just like, dude,
Sean's a good guy, I like Sean.
yeah, I was like, dude, like, what the fuck did you do? Because I'm in that position. I said, that's the position I'm in. And he was like, dude, I just upped my food. Like, I went from having like 5 meals a day to nearly 10 for 10 weeks. He said, I did everything else was the same, and I just upped my food and I just kept it clean, but more of it. And that was, what else can you do?
But it's not like he's put on the muscle. The muscle's
It
there.
was there, he
It
just needed
just
to fill
needs
it
to
back
be
out.
saturated.
Yeah,
Like,
but it was just so empty. Because like you
Mm.
see him doing a front, there's a shot of him doing a front double at the fucking Grand Prix, bro. And it's like, dude, like, where's your
It's
back gone? Like,
depleted.
lats were
Yeah.
gone. You see, he was lean. And
yeah.
was he as lean? Was he as lean at the Toronto? Probably not. But it didn't matter because he was so fucking full.
Mm,
Arms were like the tricep was so pop in that you get that vascularity in the outer head, and it's just like it looks like something's just pressing against the skin. And that's what you can do in a situation like that. I don't think. Well, what else can you do when you just keep everything else in plan and you just up the food.
mm.
And then I think with me, just the only reason I've had a few off meals is just because sometimes my weight still drops. So I have a few off meals just to kind of counter that. But
Well, if you're doing it with like mostly clean, like say you pushed it too far,
if I push it too far, dude,
you
then
then
all you do, you maybe do a day where you pull the carbs back a little bit. You might add an extra 10 minutes onto your cardio for 2 days. Like, and you notice that weight's very easy to get back to like you have a number in your head or a look. You just hover. And
mm,
that's the agreement factor between me and Stefan right now is like I have to hover around 275 um, before I even fly to America because last time I flew to America I was 261 all the way down to 261 and when I landed I was 255 mate
Yeah.
and it's like whoa I haven't been 255 in a long time so
Was that
um,
before the Arnold, yeah?
yeah so there was no yeah, fucking there was no chance bringing that back.
So what did you weigh? Sorry, you did say, I'm sure you said about 270-ish when you were in Durham, because I know you said, oh yeah, I'm a little bit watery and stuff, but you did still look
Yeah.
pretty lean. It was just a bit of water.
Yeah, like probably 272, probably, maybe something like that.
So you were down
Again,
like 255. You must have been fucking emaciated by then.
bro, it's weird because it's just yeah, I don't know, it's a weird like yeah, you look dry, but you just got no pop. And the
Yeah.
pop, this like I said, at the pro level, if you've got no pop, you're not even getting compared. And my
Mm,
condition, I'd say, when I'm at a show, my condition's never the worst.
well,
It may not be the best. You're probably going to get like maybe 2 or 3 guys out of 10 that have got that like kind of crazy fucking level of condition, but you need to be somewhere in the middle to be able to hang in there. And the problem is with me, if I chase condition too much, there's only so much detail my body will reveal, and then after that, it just things disappear. Like lats disappear, shoulders disappear, arms disappear, and if anything, I actually look softer because being flat.
mm.
yeah, I used to say that all the time. If you look very flat, you can look fat
Yeah,
because nothing's just
it's
pressing,
no,
especially
it's
like
not perfect.
abdominal wall and stuff. It doesn't press
Dude,
against the
dude,
skin.
I can't flex my abs if I'm flat. I if I
Yeah.
did a check-in in the morning and sent you a check-in in the morning when I'm flat, you'll think my midsection's worse for it, and you'll also be like, "Oh, glutes don't look as hard, back's looking a bit softer because the lower back doesn't push out.
Mm.
It's just all those like little traits that you come to know when you're a bigger, like a heavier guy.
And it is for like generally for the more muscle guy, the effect that can have.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
You
know
get you
the
get away
word
with it when you're a smaller guy. You do get like I mean like light, but like a bantamweight or something doesn't pilled's pilled. You just stay pilled.
yeah. And
Um,
and the amount of leeway that being full is going to buy you, it's not going to
but
hype
like
you
I put
much.
up a little video today of me in the gym doing some stupid RDLs, and I got my top off in it just because
Excuse me.
just for my own see where I'm at, and because there's some like actual food in the body, and you can see like pressure in the back. It's just so much better, and it's still not fully full, but it's better than what show day was.
James, you know what you got to do. You just got to have the balls to do it. And I don't mean that to be a
Balls.
dick, because it is tough. Because it's
Fill and
easy just
spill,
to say,
bro.
yeah,
Fill and
just
spill.
pull and spill, and it batters your brain a little bit.
Fill and spill works
It
though,
is.
dude. Fill and spill works. I think we can all agree here. I think if a show's on a Saturday, there's nothing wrong with looking like a bit of a watery mess Friday evening. If the show's Saturday night at 6 p.m. and you pull the water hardish, you stop the water, like I said, in the evening of Friday, and you do drop a little quarter of a something, dude, you could pull your food back for the Saturday daytime. You're going to land. You're going to land in a good spot. And it's always better to land coming down rather than land trying to go up. I always feel like it's so difficult to try to fill up rather than to fill down. Filling
Uh,
up.
Because
Filling
you're
up.
just overcautious, aren't you? Because you're scared in case you're going to spill over too late and
Well,
you
and
can't get the water off.
also you haven't you have to start chasing water again if you're filling up. Because I find that you put food in and you haven't got enough fluid in you on that day because you're to try and take in that food because you need a certain amount of fluid to digest that food.
yeah.
And if you leave it that late, then your fluids are higher and your food's higher, and you end up actually just looking pretty shit.
Mm.
Whereas, like, say, if you kind of waterlog yourself and feed yourself up massively until a cut-off point, and then just pull it, boom, you were saturated to the point where even if you start to take a little bit of that intercellular water out, you've still got more than you would have had trying to go up. So you're still fuller than what you would have been trying to go up. And I think you got to be a really scientific and know the body to be able to go, this is how much food you need and do that. Whereas it's a lot easier to go, let's eat this, pull that you're where you should be. So fill and spill for sure, man. I'm team fill and spill.
Mm.
Fill and spill works really well if you're really lean. It's just it's when guys try and do it and they've still got a bit of body fat on there, and when you spill and spill, it just sits in those fat pockets and
Yeah.
it just looks a bit shitty.
Well,
If you're
again, that's the
super
thing.
lean, you can get away with it.
Again, I don't know if I'm lean enough to fill and spill, but we'll try.
I think you are,
I think so.
100%.
So we'll see.
Especially by another X amount of weeks as well.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's where we're at. That is where we're at.
Well,
That-
I can't wait to see it personally.
Thanks, man. I will like I say,
Keep us in the loop.
it's the Christmas Eve of heading potentially to I say potentially because I still use the word potentially because nothing's certain. But I do appreciate the talks and the being able to just like breathe and let out, you know.
We love having the
Yeah.
insight. We love having the insight, and I'm sure people watching it do as well. Everyone thinks, like I said at the top, it's given, and they're not having people aren't having these conversations. They're not having second guessing that it's all just paved, and not many people talk about it. And you're the man.
Just need Jesus like Derek, and I'll be all right.
Yeah,
Then
mate.
there'll always be an answer. No
Yeah,
disrespect to anyone that's religious, but I think faith is such a good thing to have. Like it's actually a good thing to have because
Hey, I've
imagine
said this. I was speaking this to about Matt maybe a couple of months ago. It's just finding the time. But I am going to start going maybe to church like
I think it'd be worth
once a
it, man.
fortnight or
Like
something. Not to
something.
sit there and hymn the Bible and all that kind of stuff. Just for some room and some space, just to
Yeah.
just fucking chill out.
Like my before we go, like my mum she wasn't like someone that would go and I don't think like pray or anything, but there's definitely something to be said about
Yeah,
at least feeling like there's something out there that also has it's kind of got your back a little bit,
Mm.
I suppose.
yeah. I'm not going to turn it into a Bible thumper, but yeah, just to find a little bit of solace. I think
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
sometimes
Solace is the word. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
and that can only be broken down by sometimes letting that load off somewhere else and being like, you know what, something else is helping me during these times.
Well, the my mum never teaches like the God thing, but she talks about a higher power because she's involved in a certain club that talks about
Yeah, that's
that.
fair enough.
And it is like having faith doesn't necessarily mean religion.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you see Jesus or fucking. It means that you just
Yeah,
believe there's a higher power,
yeah,
whether it's the universe itself.
yeah.
Like
Or
you
you.
can't, or you, yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Just something
Mm.
a bit more. So
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Sometimes you,
there's many times that I've thought that somebody out there or something has kind of been looking out for me to some degree for certain things to happen. And then you have the vice versa, isn't it? Like, fuck me, like,
Yeah.
like, are you kind of punishing me right now for something? So you got to have like the kind of thing that you're holding on for something better coming along, because hey, we all have rough times, don't we? And you have to have something that. You said this to Leroy earlier. I said, hey, there's some stuff going on. Like, everybody's got something going on, haven't they?
Yeah.
You say, hey, just hang in. The good times are kind of around the corner type of thing, because that's faith in another way, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going a little bit deep here. I haven't even listened to the high frequency music yet, and I'm going.
Well,
Sorry, guys, I've still got this weird throat gut thing going on. I don't know what's going on with it, but never mind.
I think there must be a God,
weirdo.
because there has never been a joke better than ecstasy. So God made ecstasy, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, everything feels amazing." And then God went, "But you can't get an erection." And I just think that must be a joke made by a higher power. Who would?
You learn something new every day. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, who just went, "We're going to make ecstasy, like literally that feels amazing, but
Yeah.
you can't get an erection."
That's crazy.
That's how to come down to more.
That's got to be.
That's kind of what I was talking about. Yeah,
that's got to be God. No,
Surely
that's having a joke
is
like that.
it worth the trade-off though?
No.
Oh.
You're just there, just in the club, just rubbing your face.
I think I'd love that though. Just like
It's wicked.
if you ever, when people, have you ever had your like head itched by one of them head itching things with the little spikes?
Oh
the
yeah.
wire thing.
Why is that so fucking pleasant?
Yeah,
So ecstasy and that maybe.
mate. I think that is. Yeah, that's probably going to be up there with the best thing ever.
Yeah, I might have to buy one. I'm gonna go on Amazon and get one for me.
I'm gonna get. We get
Like,
Team
You're
But-
going
Nine.
to see it on Jim. You're
But
going to see it on Jim's Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just sit there.
but the problem is, it feels better when someone else does it.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it.
You can't predict the sensations. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's like having a
oh,
wank, isn't it? It is
Yeah.
better when
Yeah.
someone.
Oh, damn! I can lower the tone. Better when the postman's wanting you off. Yeah.
better when the postman's waiting. Yeah, well, maybe we'll buy each other one for Christmas. Head massage.
I'm going to send you one. Oh, you're away tomorrow, Jim, so I can't. I was going to say I'm going to FedEx you one. I think I'm in the States. Like, I'll ask you where you're
UPS.
staying. I'll FedEx you a head massage.
Head massage. They'll
I'll
probably find
send
one.
down some ecstasy. No,
They probably sell
that
them in
was a
Target.
joke.
Send me
Just
some
in case somebody's
cake.
watching this.
Yeah.
Well,
The
maybe
only
I'll
thing we
save,
got in
maybe I'll
Target,
save
Jim,
these.
was,
Cigars, I fancy. I've got
I
cigar
can't, I
later.
can't even see that.
Maybe we'll save some of these for
What is that, Dan? Is it legal?
the Cubanas.
Oh, I was going to get some cigars at the weekend, and I thought I was trying to be a baller.
I'll bring them down.
Yeah.
I smoke a cigar
Yeah.
every now and then, only if I'm around alpha males like yourselves.
Yeah, that was the plan, really. Oh, he's even got the cut as well. Is that some kind of penis device, Dan?
It can be, if it feels better when someone else does.
Yeah.
Not when you've had an ecstasy tablet. There's no
Oh, mate, you wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't even.
Wouldn't even feel it.
No, it wouldn't even get through.
It's a good job we don't monetize our channel for our 3 viewers, isn't it? Because we would get instantly blocked.
You should do super chats though. Super chats so then people can, or something. So they.
Yeah, I was thinking like we might do some live stuff just for fun.
Yeah.
Because we were doing okay. Then Dan went on holiday. I got ill. What else happened? Something happened.
Life
Can't
just
remember
happens.
now.
Everything just happens
Yeah.
all the time.
I'm not having the going on holiday.
Dan, I've got to give you grief for going on holiday.
No,
You're
I'm
not
not
allowed
having
on
that.
holiday.
No, mate.
Oh, he's getting all. See how he's getting now, Jim. He's not checking in. He's allowed to go on holiday, smoking cigars.
No, they're brand new. I've not.
He's getting all. What's the word I'm looking for? He's getting all high and mighty now because he's on IG on the Instagram reels and stuff. The jokes aside, big props, Dan, because we have been pushing you to get some content out. So you're finally doing it. So
I've been
it's getting some
trying.
good response. So I like
No,
it.
it's good to see, man. It's good to see.
But I did the Brian Dobson podcast from Miami last time, so I was there.
Was that from Miami? Was it? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you weren't going to miss that one, were you?
No,
That was a really good podcast. It's a
was
shame we don't get as many views as we should, because that is a really good podcast, the one with Brian. I might repost it actually.
Yeah, do a little second run on it, maybe.
Yeah, I might get in touch with Brian. I really enjoyed that one, to be fair.
Brian's
Get
such
back.
a cool dude.
Get back.
Get him back on,
Yeah,
get him back on.
We'll try and get Brian back on.
Get
I'll speak to the guy who runs the Metroflex Instagram. He always gets back to me. I can't remember. Sorry, I do apologize. I think his name's Stephen. I could be. It's probably David or something. I probably got that totally wrong. So Stephen does ring a bell, doesn't it? So I do apologize if it isn't Stephen, but I will get in touch with him. And Mr. Hollingshead, we'll let you go and listen to your high frequency music in the bath.
Yeah, man.
I've had my
That's what
laugh.
I'm going to do this year.
I'm gonna listen to it in bed.
I'm gonna I might dig out some of my old lectures if I've zipped them and send you some of the frequency stuff if I can find it.
Hey, if you do, fucking, I'm
Yeah,
here.
please do,
you
Dan.
can
I
go,
need something to chill me out as of late.
you
Yeah,
can go on you can go on a trip for that.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah, we need that. But he needs to check this frequency stuff out.
Yeah, man. I'll send it. I'll do missing fundamentals. Look that up. Missing fundamentals. If you want to go on something that's fucked up.
It's in fundamentals. Okay.
I'm not going to go down a massive rabbit hole. I'm not going to get to sleep at like 4
Yeah,
a.m.
that's well, no,
Yeah,
it's not
maybe
scary.
not tonight. Maybe not tonight.
It's not scary. It's just that your
Yeah.
brain prints sounds when they're missing if they're in the harmonic series. That's interesting. Anyway.
Maybe not on a school night. Maybe that's like for a Saturday night or something.
All right,
Right,
man.
gentlemen. Nice
All
to
right,
catch up.
gentlemen.
James, thanks
James,
again.